open us up. Football Stadium, SNU Football live and on the air here in Bethany. This afternoon, the Crimson Storm hope to find the win column for the first time this season. To do that, SNU will have to accomplish a second first, defeating the Savage Storm of Southeastern Oklahoma State. Hello, everyone. I'm Luke McConnell. Reese Carlson and Landry Franks will join me in a minute. SNU has never defeated Southeastern in 6 tries and has been shut out by the Savage Storm the past 2 seasons, 58-0 in 2017 and 35-0 last season, both of those games to open the season. Both teams come into today's game off a loss, with Southeastern falling to OBU on a last-minute touchdown and the Crimson Storm dropping a 45-7 decision in Ada to East Central. SNU's been unable to establish any sort of rhythm on either side of the ball this season. The defense has been gashed on the ground and through the air, while the offense hasn't gotten out of its own way with negative plays and an inability to piece together long drives. Through 3 games this season, SNU has scored just 27 points and crossed the opponent's 40-yard line just 4 times on 31 non-scoring drives. The Crimson Storm has hit on some big plays this season, but consistency has yet to be found on a unit that lost very few contributors from last year. The defense has struggled with injuries, particularly in the secondary, but the line of scrimmage has not been kind to the Crimson Storm. 2 opponents have rushed for over 300 yards this season, while a lack of pass rush allowed the third to throw for over 400. Even though the first quarter of the season has not been what anyone envisioned, there are positives which could provide a boost to SNU as the season continues. The young players who have been forced into action due to injuries have stepped up in big ways. While the offense hasn't produced a lot, they've also done a great job of limiting turnovers and penalties. Golden opportunity presents itself today as the Savage Storm come to Bethany, still working out the kinks of a coaching change. New head coach Tyler Fenwick came to Durant in the offseason after 7 years at Missouri Science and Technology. He replaced Bob Atterbury, who took over at Arkansas Tech after Raymond Monica was let go last November. Southeastern doesn't boast its usual stout defense, and the offense has been highly one-dimensional through 3 games so far. Perhaps today is the day the Crimson Storm break through and notch their first win of the season and the first ever against the Savage Storm. To do that, the Crimson Storm will have to fight for a full 4 quarters, and guys, that's something we have yet to see this season and something Coach Andy Lambert has been surprised by through these first 3 games.
Yeah, I think SNU is used to having slow starts. That's something that's been characteristic of these SNU teams the last couple of years. But throughout those slow starts, we have seen a consistent fight out of the SNU football team on both sides of the ball. And I think Andy Lambert definitely a little frustrated that, although we're getting beat, what seems to be all sides of the ball, we're not putting up a good fight throughout the entire 4 quarters. And so I think that's something that we're looking to see regardless of the outcome of the game today.
Yeah, absolutely. And starting the season with 3 consecutive losses is hard for any team. Doesn't matter who you are. But certainly it's way too early in the season to give up hope. I think last year at this time they were 1-2. So there's a lot to build on still, and they just have to have a better perspective of the full length of the season.
Guys, like you said, a golden opportunity against Southeastern. Not your typical Southeastern team, Reese, that you've seen the past couple of years. They're struggling to run the ball, and the defense has been gashed through the air in particular. Just a big opportunity for SNU back at home for the first time in 3 weeks to get going again and maybe take advantage of a program in flux in Southeastern.
Yeah, definitely. And Southeastern, like you said, Luke, kind of uncharacteristic of how they've been in the past. But at the same time, this is a good football team. They have struggled the last couple of weeks. I think for SNU, what they're going to have to do is just capitalize on any and every turnover that they're able to get. Southeastern, very last in the conference and turnover differential. They've had 11 turnovers this far. And SNU's done a great job of controlling the football, and so I think if SNU can capitalize on some of those missed opportunities by Southeastern, they might find themselves in a real good spot to be successful in this one.
Well, we'll go ahead and hear from head coach Andy Lambert. We had the opportunity to sit down with him yesterday and talk about this game and what he's learned from his program so far. So we'll step aside and hear from Coach Lambert here on the SNU Radio Network.
Coach Lambert gave you the long interview.
Coach Andy Lambert. And the captains are meeting at midfield right now. And, guys, what are some keys to watch for you guys today?
Yeah, we talked about this week one, and we know this is Coach Lambert's MO, and that's blocking and tackling, right? So SNU, when you look at the stat sheet across the GAC, it's no surprise, but they're on the lower end on most statistical spreads. So they've got to do the basic things well. So they have a really good chance against a team who seems to be pretty one-dimensional. So defensively, tackling is important, obviously, but they've got to do that. And then they've got to use their quick offensive linemen to get to the second level and block the linebackers, and opens up some holes for the run game and for Gage to get going.
Yeah, definitely. This game for sure rises and falls on Gage Porter, as does every SNU game. The way the offense is set up, it's gonna run through the quarterback. He's gonna carry. He's gonna get the majority of the carries, and obviously he'll be throwing the football as well. So as he goes, the SNU offense will go, and so I think getting Gage Porter going early, maybe letting him complete a couple short passes, some screens, give him some confidence. I'd love to see Gage just have a breakout game today.
Yeah.
Guys, who's the one player you mentioned? Reese, you just mentioned Gage getting off to a hot start. Anybody else that you're going to be watching today in this game?
Yeah, I would look at both the outside linebackers for the Crimson Storm. I mean, they have an opportunity to make big plays when you run a 3-4 and you're playing an RPO-based team. You can be looking for a lot of slants, a lot of quick outs, things that would be right in the zone for both Campbell and Hernandez. So they're going to have opportunities to make plays, and they've got to take advantage of those when they come to them.
Yeah, I think I'm just going to stick with the offensive side of the ball. I think for me it's Reed roll-offs. I think he has the potential to have a big game today. I'd like to see SNU, of course, throw the ball a little more, and I think if they do, they're going to want to get it to Reed. And so if Reed can have a big day, he's such a high percentage catch guy when you throw it up to him. So I think if they can get him going too, you'll see good things from SNU.
I'm going to stick on the defensive side with Landry here and go with our guy, number 90, Jazz Pitts. He had a couple big plays last week, couple pressures against East Central, and he's done some good things, but just, he's one guy of many, and, one guy can't completely wreck the opposing game plan, and so he's one guy that I think will have a big game today against a young and inexperienced Southeastern offensive line. We're observing a moment of silence here for local high school players, Southwest Covenant's Peter Webb, who passed away after sustaining a head injury 2 weeks ago in Southwest Covenant's football game. And, it's been a rough couple weeks. And Landry, you kind of have a little bit of a pulse on that. How's just the response been community-wide here? Yeah,
well, you can't say enough about the Webb family. I mean, experiencing this tremendous tragedy, and but still, upholding what they believe and why they believe it, and really the whole community's rallied around them. But definitely, it's been something that not only in Bethany, where Southern Nazarene is, but really in all of Oklahoma City, it's been something that has been heavy on the hearts of many people, especially when you start a football game. It's hard to get that out of your mind if you live in Oklahoma City. So, thoughts and prayers go out to the Webb family as they deal with this, and also the families. There's so many families and friends who were so close to Peter that are experiencing a lot of grief right now too.
SNU will be sending this one away to Southeastern to start this one. Ryan Reed back deep to kick. Felton Hatcher deep to receive for the Savage Storm. Southeastern picking its way to the far side of the field. That's Rashard Polk. And the backup running back with a very nice return out to the 38-yard line. Yeah. And that is where Southeastern will start 1st and 10 against the SNU defense.
Looks like there was a hold on that play, and honestly, it'll probably be the most obvious hold that we see all day today. I'm not sure who it was, but someone was tackled by the return team, so they'll will be pinned back. to start their drive.
Yeah, that was Noah Turbyfield there running down on kickoff. We talked about him, just a guy that loves to get after it, big, strong, physical kid, and he just absolutely ran over one of the return men for Southeastern, and he just took Turbyfield right down with him.
So the holding penalty will mark the ball at the Savage Storm 13-yard line, and that is where they will start 1st and 10. And so senior quarterback Roland Kinsall out there in the backfield with senior running back C.J. Shavers. Savage Storm come out 3 wide receivers set to start this one. Kinsall looking to the right, no one there. Plenty of time, airs it down the field, overthrows his receiver, number 15, Braxton Kincaid. So it'll bring up 2nd and 10. Great coverage down the field for the Crimson Storm on 1st down.
Yeah, looks like they're trying to go to the right side of the field, and something SNU had trouble with last week was once they did have good coverage down the field, they let the quarterback get off to a run. But you saw Angel Hernandez stay home and defend the run there by the quarterback.
Option keeper for Kinsall. He runs right into Noah Campbell, but a solid gain of about 9 there on 2nd down. And it looks like Campbell and Kinsall's cleats got a little tangled up in the laces, so it'll bring up 3rd and a long one, and an early opportunity for the SNU defense to get off the field.
Yeah, and you can tell Southeastern's doing a little micro huddle, and second play of the game, running the ball.
Tight formation here. The pitch back to Shavers. He's met in the backfield by Josh Jordan. Don't think he got there. Angel Hernandez and Jake Hansen came up to finish him off, but Josh Jordan's penetration stops Shavers in the backfield. It will be 4th down.
And you got to think they're punting here. Yeah, there comes the punt team. But what I was saying, Southeastern hadn't been able to run the football all season, and SNU defensively hasn't been stout against the run or the pass. So you wouldn't be surprised if the run is going to come early and often from Southeastern. But SNU, good job right there, standing their ground and forcing a 4th down on 3rd and 1.
So Jeremiah Balltrip back to punt. He's actually the backup punter. Sebastian Escalante not playing today. Reed Rolas will let it roll away, and it will die at the SNU 38-yard line, and that is where SNU will take over 1st and 10. Timeout on the field, 13:15 to go, 1st quarter. SNU with the ball coming up right after this on the SNU Radio Network. Back to SNU Football Stadium, 1st and 10 for the Crimson Storm on their own 38-yard line. And guys, great start for the SNU defense. A quick 3 and out against Southeastern here.
Yeah, they made Southeastern have to run the football a couple times there, and something they're not particularly excellent at. And so SNU, a whole bunch of momentum, and they get the ball in great field position to start out.
Yeah.
So Gage Porter, two backs with him. Dalton Sanders in motion. Fakes the give there. Porter right at the middle is met hard in the hole by Jared Bell. And defensive end Hunter Wagneck. Just a gain of nothing on that play.
Yeah.
So it'll bring up 2nd and 10.
And obviously, with SNU's offense, there's all kinds of options on a lot of plays. But it looked like the 2 guards just went to the 2nd level a little too quickly and missed just one of the linebackers who was filling that gap.
So 2nd and 10, 3 wide receivers to the right. Nate Walker and Christian Schellmeyer in the backfield with Porter. Sanders in motion to the near side. Porter running the option. A wild pitch to Walker, and he manages to fall on it at the 40-yard line. Risky play there from Gage Porter, and the pickup of just 2
Yeah, they're going to fake power there to the left side and then run a little option back to the long side of the field. And Gage tried to take it himself, and then last minute decided he would pitch the football, and luckily Nate Walker's able to fall on it.
Mm-hmm. Shades of Reggie Bush in USC versus Texas.
So 3rd and 8. Porter looking right. He's got roll-offs. Runs through an arm tackle. Is trying to stretch toward the first down. He's not going to get there, but he's going to be just a yard shy. Jeremiah Balltrip with just an arm tackle there. Roll-offs was able to get through that, but Hunter Wageneck was able to take him down, and SNU electing to go conservative here on 4th and 1, just their side of midfield, and Ryan Reed on to punt this one away.
Yeah, and Southeastern, anticipating a fake punt right here, 4th and 1 on really the middle of the field. They got their safe punt return on.
Reed, one of the leading punters in the Great American Conference, sends this one high, a little bit wobbly. It's going to come down at the 11-yard line, fielded by Marquise Gray. And that will take us to a stoppage on the field. 11:21 to go first quarter. We're scoreless after one possession each. This is the SNU Radio Network. Through one possession each here in Bethany. Southeastern coming back up on offense here as the SNU defense feeling a little confidence after one possession, forcing a 3 and out. 4 wide receivers set here for the Savage Storm. 3 to the near side. The give is to Polk in the backfield. Good blocking on the perimeter, and he powers up to about the 21-yard line. Gang tackled on the play, and guys, some good wide receiver blocking there on that particular play for the Savage Storm.
Yeah, definitely. It looked like, I think that was Ethan Spurlock, number 39, who was out last game, was able to get in the backfield and force that running back to bounce outside. Luckily, great blocking, as you said, Luke, on the perimeter, able to pick up a couple yards.
So 2nd and 2 from the 21-yard line. Looked like a false start there. Kinsall hits Blakely, and he falls forward to the 27-yard line. Tackle on the play by Dylan Metter. So that'll be a first down for Southeastern. They'll move the sticks. Again, 1st and 10 at the SNU 20 or their own 27-yard line. 3 wide receivers to the near side. Tight end on the left side of the formation. Kinsall looking to pass. He's pressured and sacked in the backfield. Ethan Spurlock and Landon Walker met up in the backfield, and Kinsall with a big loss. I mean, a loss of 10 back to the 17-yard line. Just SNU's 2nd sack of the season.
Yeah, one of the reasons SNU has been beat in the air, I think, most of the season, they have not been able to apply any pressure whatsoever. Ethan Spurlock, the senior, getting in for his first sack of the season.
Guys, this is a very young offensive line for Southeastern, and SNU with a great blitz call there.
Yeah, and it looked like it was almost an auto blitz. When you have a tight end on the end, it looked like that outside linebacker had the free reign to do what he wanted to.
Kinsall back to pass, looking down the seam, and he's got Blakely right at the sticks.
And they're going
to give him enough for the first down.
That was actually the backup quarterback, number 14, who fill in for Kinsall because his helmet fell off. Number 14 is Dalton Hatley, who comes in cold and throws a strike. If you're SNU, you think you're in a good position with the backup quarterback in, but apparently not.
Anthony Nichols on the field for the first time today for SNU. He's missed the first couple due to injury, and that's going to be a false start on the right tackle, Devin Mitchell. Southeastern without wide receiver Sky Lowe today. Was questionable coming in. It does not look like he was able to go this afternoon. One of the leading punt returners in the conference so far this season.
One thing interesting to note so far, Southeastern's ran the ball 4 times as opposed to only throwing it twice, and certainly not according to their usual nature. And so it looks like they're trying to establish the run here early.
Shavers in the backfield is bottled up, and he will be taken down. Might have lost a yard. Looks like they're going to spot him back at the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, and obviously there's a flag on the field and another hold. We talked about the youth of this offensive line, and early in the game it's showing. That's never good. Sometimes you'll live with inexperience in the fourth quarter because that happens, but first quarter, a couple holds and allowing no blitz pickup. It's not looking – doesn't look great.
So 2nd and 15, SNU chooses to decline the holding penalty. So it sets up 2nd and 15 from the Southeastern 33-yard line. SNU very aggressive so far, taking advantage of a youthful offensive line. Kinsall hits his man Deuce Pittman. Catch is made at the 41-yard line, and he's dropped right there. Jaquel Davis and Josh Jordan in on the tackle. It'll bring up 3rd and, I believe, 7 here at the 41-yard line. Josh Johnson onto the field for the first time today as well. Johnson's made a couple big plays so far this season. One of the fewer bright spots on this SNU defense through 3 games. 3 wide receivers to the right, 1 to the left. Kinsall looking to the right on the dig route there. It's going to be ruled incomplete. Felton Hatcher unable to come up with the catch. Looked like the SNU defender might have gotten there just a smidge early, but hard to tell with Hatcher slipping on the turf as he came out of his break.
You take your breaks where you can get them.
Absolutely.
Especially when – go ahead.
Especially so far this season.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say. All right, backup punter, punt number 2. The last one was a doozy. We'll see if SNU sends any extra pressure.
Ball trip punting again, and Reed Roloff's back at his own 23-yard line to field this one. Low snap. Ball trip sends it away. Much better in the air. End over end. Roloff's makes a man miss. Got some space up the middle. Breaks a couple tackles. He's at the midfield. 45, 40, running through tackles inside the Southeastern 35-yard line. Reed Roloff's. A huge return for the Crimson Storm. There is a flag down at midfield. Not sure what this is going to be.
Could be a sideline warning.
Yeah. Looks like it might be sideline interference given the way Andy Lambert was pulling some of his assistants back there.
Yeah, interference is different than sideline warning. Interference means that the ref was run into by someone, and unfortunately it's a 15-yard penalty. So obviously you hate that because it was a great return and
Indeed.
Great blocking. I mean, yeah, Reed made a couple guys miss at the front, but that wedge was wide open.
So while the penalty does move the ball back to the 47-yard line of Southeastern, SNU still starting in opposing territory for just the 2nd time this year. The other was after Dylan Metter's interception in the season opener against Southern Arkansas. Nate Walker in motion. Was late on that, and Porter takes it 5 yards out of bounds to the 42, but I believe we're going to get an illegal shift here.
Yeah.
On the offense as one of the wide receivers moved up to the line as Walker was in motion. So, guys, a negative play to start the drive, something SNU has been plagued by so far this season. Makes it 1st and 15 now at their own 48-yard line.
Yeah, definitely. SNU has done a pretty good job penalty-wise. They've only had, looking at 14 all season, which is just 2nd. in the GAC. So doing a good job of not shooting themselves in the foot, but unfortunately they had momentum with field position. That'll push them back a little bit.
Yeah, those are frustrating penalties, 2 back-to-back that are really, really avoidable.
Diamond formation in the backfield. The give is to Noah Turp. Nope, Porter keeps it right up the middle, and he's hammered down by big number 96, Jonathan Torres. Pick up a 5 on the play. It would be 2nd and 10. Porter lost his helmet on the play, so Jarvis Davis, the backup quarterback, will need to come in.
Yeah, we saw a lot of sparks from Jarvis Davis last week as he got in at the end of the game. I'd love to see if they might give him a little chance to run a read option, let him run the ball a little bit here.
Mm-hmm.
Vance Hooper checking in for the first time today as well. Hooper was in the concussion protocol this week, but evidently has cleared that just fine. Play clock is off.
Yeah, and the play clocks aren't working today here at the stadium, and so the back judge is going to count down 10 seconds. He'll hold up his hand, and then they're supposed to do 5 seconds counting high enough to where the quarterback can see it. But when you substitute a quarterback in for one play, some of those things happen. You know, he's not looking for the back judge, especially because the clocks aren't working. So,
well, and with the timeout now, Porter's able to come back on the field. So SNU able to not lose anything with Porter being out for a play.
Yeah, you mentioned Vance Hooper. First time we're seeing him today. The first 2 series they went without Hooper. They went Colby Branch and then Brandon Perez. I'm interested to see. It looks like they're trying to limit Hooper a little bit. Maybe they might try to get him the ball here.
Shellmeyer and Walker flank Porter in the backfield. Turbyfill in motion. The give is to Porter. Great shot block to Wagneck. Walker running through tacklers down to the 39-yard line.
Yeah, and then a really late flag that flew in from the back.
So we'll see what this is about. It's from the back judge. And the flag well down the field at the 27-yard line.
No one was even there. I wonder if he even – oh, here we go.
So the penalty is going to be a legal block below the waist. They called it on Noah Turbyfill. And I'm not sure where the penalty even took place, as Turbyfill made a block at the line of scrimmage. So either they got the number wrong or the spot where it happened wrong. Either way, it's going to be a 15-yard penalty against the Crimson Storm, backing them up to their own 44-yard line now. So 2nd and a mile at 19 yards to go. Walker in motion. Porter keeps it, goes up the middle for just a gain of 2. That'll bring up 3rd down and 17 now for the Crimson Storm. And guys, we mentioned they've been very disciplined in penalties so far this season. Not so much on this drive.
Yeah. This has been they've just had just about every kind of penalty you could think of on this drive. But one thing that stuck out is that on all this read option stuff, Gage has kept it probably, what would you guys say, 95% of the time?
Yeah.
And so a defense is going to key up on that. But what the good news is hopefully it's going to open up some of these stretch plays with the wide receivers in motion.
Porter back to pass. Lots of time. He's looking for roll-offs down the sidelines, getting ridden out of bounds. No flag is thrown. Jeremiah Baldtrip in coverage. And he just rode roll-offs right out of bounds. Pass falls incomplete, and SNU, after such promising field position with the read roll-offs punt return, will have to punt it away after essentially, when all is said and done, moving backwards 7 yards on this drive.
Yeah, that's really unfortunate. You get a great return, and then a penalty plagues that, and then to start your drive, another penalty. And they go with the fake punt.
And there's going to be a fake punt, and it's Landon Walker down the left sideline, and he picks up the first down. fooled everybody, including myself, and Walker takes it all the way down to the 31-yard line.
Yeah, I think everybody in the stands took probably 5 seconds just to figure out where the ball was.
Yeah, that's a play that SNU will keep in their back pocket all season and only use it about once a year. We had that, and we practiced it every single Thursday. I don't think we ever used it because once you use it once, you kind of give it away. But what they're going to do there, one of the upbacks is going to stand right behind the center. The center is actually going to snap it right to the upback, and the upback is going to wait a 2 count until everyone else moves to run the ball, and that's what you saw there.
Porter takes the snap, looking deep. He's got a wide open Noah Turbyfield, and it's caught. Touchdown, Crimson Storm. Beautiful play action fake from Porter, and Noah Turbyfield leaking down the left sideline, wide open for the 31-yard touchdown.
Just got to love that, a wheel route for a touchdown. Defense's worst nightmare is an uncovered wheel route because usually a wheel route forces you to be in man coverage. And if there's a breakdown, it's usually going to be a touchdown.
So Ryan Reed on to attempt the extra point. Snap, hold, and kick. And it is 7-0. SNU, 4:32 to go here in the first quarter. And guys, a beautifully called fake punt. Just a perfect timing for that. Just when you think you're all deflated from going backwards with such great field position, you pull that one out of your bag. Just the perfect time to do that.
Yeah. Landon Walker, the upback, we talked about him before. First year playing college football, is a baseball guy, and he took that. I mean, it wasn't an easy 4th and 1 either. They had a ways to go, and it was 4th and 17, and Landon Walker went the distance to get the first down. Certainly a gutsy call, but it paid off as the very next play. They throw the wheel route for a touchdown to Turbyfield.
Yeah, absolutely. And Mike Gundy, who was criticized this week for going for it on doing a fake field goal on 4th and 7 because it was too long, Well,
it was a terrible play.
I mean, it was, but I mean, certainly you don't think 4th and 17. I mean, if I'm Southeastern, I don't even think twice about having my normal punt coverage out there. So as a coach, you just take that one in the chin and you move on. But great play.
Reed sends this one deep. It's going to be fielded by Polk. He carries it into the end zone. They're going to be generous with the touchback call there.
The momentum of the ball, I guess, shoved him back about 3 yards. So.
Indeed. So Southeastern will start 1st and 10 at the 25-yard line. Guys, again, SNU, for all the struggles they've had offensively, almost all of their touchdowns this season on big, explosive plays.
Yeah, something I think we need to point out, guys, SNU, they just look different today in all aspects of the game. They're being aggressive on defense, okay? That is not something we typically see them do. No. They're bringing pressure on offense. They're throwing the ball for big, explosive plays. And so we're seeing a little bit of a different SNU.
And in the backfield, Shavers is going to be taken down. Jaden Simmons was in there. Angel Hernandez in there as well. Flag coming in from the far side of the field.
Yeah,
we've got another holding on Southeastern is the indication.
Yeah, and you can be as aggressive as you want if the team you're playing has no run game. So you can blitz, you can do different stunts, you can be creative because you're not necessarily worried. You might give up 6 or 7 yard run, but you're not giving up a home run, which we saw in the first few weeks was really the downfall. SNU stopping the run, but Southeastern doesn't look like they can hardly block a soul right now.
So 2nd and 13 for the Savage Storm. 2 wide receivers right, 1 left. Kinsall back to pass, lofts a fade down the sideline, and it's going to be knocked away by Jaquel Davis. Great defense from Davis.
Yeah.
Covering Deuce Pittman down that far sideline.
And you love the fight between the wide receiver and the corner on that. And I love when line judges let that go because it makes the game that much better. But also gives the defense a chance to make a play on the ball where sometimes it's just a quick flag and there's nothing you can do about it.
So 3rd and 13 now for Southeastern.
Screen alert right here.
Kinsall back to pass. Plenty of time. Tries to go down the sideline again, and nobody home. Jaquel Davis had run Deuce Pittman out of bounds well back at the 40-yard line. The pass all the way down near the SNU 40-yard line falls incomplete. No harm there. And SNU, another 3-and-out on defense. Southeastern forced to punt once more.
Yeah, Southeastern looking like they're kind of struggling to find what they want to do. There's no clear, hey, we're going to attack this team through the air or through the ground. It doesn't seem like either is really working too well for the Southeastern offense.
Southeast, Jeremiah Baltrip punting for the third time today. A little bit more rugby style, sends a nice end-over-end kick away from roll-offs, and it'll bounce out of bounds around the SNU 40-yard line, which is exactly where they will mark that one. And that's where the SNU offense will take over 1st and 10, their own 40-yard line. No stoppage here. We'll keep it here. And, guys, that's the first SNU touchdown since 2016 against the Savage Storm. 2 straight years of shutouts.
Yeah, those are the
6:06 in the third quarter back in 2016. So
wow. Those are the stats you want to
long,
bury.
long time.
So I'm sure Coach Lambert's glad he brought that one up. So
quick out to Dalton Sanders. Good spin and a nice pickup of 6 on first down. Sanders against Jeremiah Baltrip there. Reese, your former running mate, Jacob Spady, with the 28-yard touchdown run back in that 2016 game.
Wow, that's a throwback for sure.
So 2nd and 3 at the 47-yard line. 2 wide receivers near side, 2 to the far side, and Noah Turbyfill in the backfield with Porter. Porter didn't like what he saw, so he'll take time out.
Yeah, I'm not sure what the confusion was. Reese, you have any thoughts?
Yeah, looking at Gage as he kind of scanned his receivers, it seemed like he was a little confused on what exactly the play call was or what his read was on that. Typically, you don't see that. It's usually SNU will call a timeout when the play clock is running down. That wasn't really the case, and Gage just seemed a little maybe he didn't get the correct call or know what his read was on that one.
And that's something we saw a lot last year with the offense, just a lot of confusion with signals and things of that nature, but not so much this year. A little bit different for SNU. The communication's been clear, haven't been as many late timeouts as the clock was running down, so that's certainly been a positive thing. A little bit of an offensive line shift. Oh, and Porter fumbled the snap, and he was able to fall back on it at the 42-yard line. He was about to throw the quick screen out to the near side, and ball just slipped out of his hand. So loss of 3 back to the 41-yard line.
Yeah,
42-yard line is where they spot that, actually.
Classic case of taking your eye off the ball, before you – quarterbacks have to remember that too. Wide receivers, they say catch the ball first, then make a move. But when you're running shotgun, it's easy to think it's second nature to just catch that pass and do the next thing, but slipped right out of his hands.
So now 3rd and 8 for SNU. Colby Branch comes in motion. Porter running right up the middle, following his blockers, and unable to get there. Gets knocked down hard at the 46-yard line. Andrew Macbeth in on that tackle.
Yeah, I'm guessing they're not doing the fake punt this time.
Probably not. There's not more than one fake punt in the playbook, is there, Reese?
There might be. I don't know.
You don't want to say too loud,
Yeah, I can't say.
So Ryan Reed back to punt. Baltrip is back deep at his own 15-yard line to field this one. Reed sends a high spiral. He just crushed that one. Will it go out of bounds first? No, it lands at the 1 and takes a right hop into the end zone for the touchback.
That goes anywhere left. It's down inside the 5.
Oh, that would have been absolutely perfect if he had been able to get that to bounce left.
Yeah, and you notice that's a first. So every punt, he's punted 3 times, 4 times, 3 times this game. They've all been right. Then he hits one left. And that's a small thing that you don't often think about, but coaching-wise, you feel like you can really bait a team into thinking something's going one way, and then you hit it back left. It can mess with the returner. Even when you hit the ball a certain direction, it kind of changes the direction of how they have to catch it and receive it. So it's unfortunate to win the end zone, but it was a great punt.
Backup quarterback Dalton Hatley in now for Southeastern as the Savage Storm trying to get anything going offensively. It's Polk up the middle, finds a little bit of space and squeezes out to the 26-yard line. Nice pickup of 6 there.
Yeah, SNU will live with that. 6 yards. It's not ideal, but if they have to force Southeastern into trying to run for 6 yards every play, they'll live with that.
So 2nd and 4 for Southeastern. 2 wide receivers left, 1 to the right. Hatley the give to Polk once again. He's bottled up, but squirts through, and he's able to pick up the first down. Another gain of 6 out to the 32-yard line, and looked like SNU had him hemmed in there, but he was able to squirt through and pick up 6 more yards.
Yeah, obviously the scouting report on SNU is, hey, you run the football against them. I mean, ECU last week ran all over them, and running back for ECU, GAC Offensive Player of the Week, ran for a ton of yards against them. I think Southeastern is trying to do at least something similar, establish the run game early.
Polk once again right up the middle. He's going to be wrapped up by Josh Jordan at the 39-yard line. They'll give him the 40.
Yeah, they get
a pickup of 8.
Pretty solid spot on that one. But SNU, they've been playing the pass so much. Southeastern's making them kind of put more people in the box. I'm guessing to open up the pass. They do have their backup quarterback in. I don't know if there's an injury, but
yeah, Ken Saul over on the sideline with no helmet. I just wonder if his day's done or if this is the way they're doing it. Hatley has played significantly this season. Polk, hesitation in the hole, and Josh Jordan again on the tackle. Caleb Hughes there to finish him off up at the 46-yard line, and that's going to be a first down, and that will take us to the end of the first quarter. 1 quarter in the books here in Bethany. SNU leading Southeastern 7-0 here on the SNU Radio Network. We'll take time out and be back with the start of the second 15 minutes right after this. Seven to nothing. 1st and 10 for Southeastern at their own 46-yard line. The give to CJ Shavers, and he'll pick up 4 up to midfield.
Yeah, big collision there. Metter's slow getting up, but popping up.
Jake Hansen also in on the tackle there, so
got his bell rung a little bit.
Yep, looked like it.
Looked like by his own teammate.
SNU 12 plays, 77 yards in that first quarter. Nice even split, 45 through the air, 32 on the ground. So 2nd and 6. Hatley quickly finds Kincaid. And he slips down at the 45-yard line. So it'll be 3rd and 1 for the Savage Storm. Finally starting to get a little bit of rhythm on offense.
Yeah, and you got 2 tight ends right here in the game. Don't be surprised to see some kind of power counter coming towards the home sideline.
Shavers will get the handoff, and he just rams it right up the middle.
Nothing
behind big
there.
number 52, Carl Chapman.
Yeah, just a power right down or right on the outside. Follow that pulling guard. Maybe only a 4-yard gain, but when you only need one, you'll take 4.
So 1st and 10 at the SNU 41-yard line. Big methodical march right here for the Savage Storm, trying to regain control of this one. Hatley pulls it back. On the slant, he's got Kincaid, and it's dropped. Jaquel Davis was there in coverage, but Braxton Kincaid should have come up with that catch.
Yeah, Jaquel Davis has been all over the place so far this afternoon. Has a couple pass breakups already, and he's a guy, he's about 5'7", 5'8". He's a guy they want to pick on for sure, as they have Deuce Pittman, the 6'4" receiver. It seems like they've thrown to him a couple times, but every time Jaquel Davis has come up successful.
2nd and 10 now for the Savage Storm. 5 wide receiver set. Hatley's back to pass. Looking to his left, it's Deuce Pittman. He's wrapped up quickly by Angel Hernandez. That's just going to be a gain of 4 down to the 37-yard line.
Yeah, you got to like this. So even though Southeastern's had some success running the ball, they can't sustain 3 plays of a run, right? And so any negative play is completely thrown off their drives. That's what we've seen in the first quarter. So this is a first test for SNU on a 3rd down. They've been on the field for a long time, and they forced Southeastern into a passing down, which they've defended really well.
Kincaid comes in motion to the near side. Trips left now. Hatley looks to the right. Now progresses back left. He's got space, trying to get to the 1st down marker. And I believe they're going to mark him out just shy. As Angel Hernandez with good pursuit. He's going to be a yard short at the 32. Needed to get to the 31. So 4th and 1. There is a bit of a south breeze. Yeah, Southeastern leaving the offense on the field right now at the SNU 32-yard line.
Yeah, and Coach Lambert's pretty hot. It looked like there was a missed hold, and also the 3-receiver set looked like an easy pick play that was just missed. And it's hard to call those pick plays if you're a referee, but when you have wide receivers intentionally running into cornerbacks, it seems pretty obvious.
Power formation here. The pitch is to Shavers, and he gets enough of a hole to pick up 4 down to the 28-yard line, and that's a 1st down for Southeastern, and the march continues here for the Savage Storm. Over 3 minutes gone by in the 2nd quarter. It also spans the last few minutes of the 1st quarter. So Southeastern just trying to slow the momentum that SNU has right now and regain control of this game.
Yeah, Southeastern 2nd in the conference in time of possession, something they've done a great job of the entire season, and especially for a team that wants to throw the ball as much as they do. But they're doing a great job of running the football and converting on 4th down.
Hatley looking right, quick out. He's got Hatcher, and it went right through Hatcher's hands. Falls incomplete. It'll be 2nd and 10 for Southeastern.
That's why you catch with your hands, right?
Absolutely. Let that get too far into his body, and it went ricocheting away.
Reese, you're the wide receiver, so we know that you never try to catch with your pads, right? You always use your hands. Right?
All the time catching my pads.
It's so much easier sometimes.
It is.
The give is to Polk, trying to get around the right side. Looked like a face mask there, and that is going to be the call. Number 71, Devin Mitchell, the right tackle, who's already had 2 other penalties, had his hand up in Ethan Spurlock's face mask. We'll see if that is the call or if it's a hold. It is just a hold. So it now will be 2nd and 20 from the 38-yard line. Ethan Spurlock, a guy who we weren't even sure was going to play today, has been in on a sack and also drawing a couple penalties there against the right tackle, Devin Mitchell. Just a sophomore is Mitchell.
Yeah, just listed at 245 pounds. Looks a little bigger than that as I'm looking at him right here, but certainly smaller than a lot of the offensive lines SNU has faced thus far.
Which is a blessing for the Crimson
Yes.
Storm, no doubt. So 3 wide receivers left here on 2nd and 18. Hatley's back to pass. Jason Gully with the pressure, looking deep for Kincaid into double coverage. It falls incomplete. Good coverage from Josh Johnson and Josh Jordan, the two JJs there in coverage on Braxton Kincaid. So it'll bring up 3rd and 18 now for the Savage Storm.
Yeah, and Jason Gully coming around the right side has really good pressure. Now, he doesn't get to the quarterback in enough time to physically affect his throw. But if you're a quarterback and you get contact after you throw the football from your blind side, you're going to start thinking about that. It's hard not to change your throwing motion or to be kind of apprehensive in the pocket.
Anthony Nichols in on this 3rd down and 18. Blitz coming. Dylan Metter. He's going to get there, and Hatley slips away, but Metter gets him again as Gully's there as well. Back at the 47-yard line. Another sack for the Crimson Storm, and Dylan Metter made that happen with that blitz.
Yeah, this offensive line for Southeastern, when they look at film and they get their grades from their offensive line coach at the end of the game, it might be one of those games where the coach says the thing where he just goes, "We're not even watching film. We're not even going to watch it. The game's useless."
It has not been pretty so far for the Savage Storm as Baltrip on to punt once more. And a very long drive for the Savage Storm comes up empty. Baltrip, a very high punt. And it dies inside the 5-yard line. It's going to be down just inside the 1.
Oh, man.
Baltrip sent that one a mile into the air.
That might be the luckiest punt I've ever witnessed.
And that's where SNU will start when we come back. 9:40 to go in the second quarter. SNU still leading Southeastern 7-0. This is Crossover Radio Sports, sports from a different perspective. SNU leading 7-0 as a long Southeastern drive comes up empty, but the Crimson Storm, an unenviable starting position. Ball mark just inside their own 1-yard line. And guys, Gage Porter halfway back in the end zone in the pistol set. You got to have a positive play here. Porter trying to sneak up the middle for anything, and he will get out to about the 3-yard line. So a little bit more breathing room for the Crimson Storm now on 2nd and 8.
Yeah, when you're in situations like this, or even on the other side when it's when you're trying to score, as a coach, you don't try to be creative. You just look at your staff and you say, "What's our best play right here? What do we do the best?" And so you're not surprised to see a quarterback power on the first play just to get a little bit of room. Reese, what do you think? What would you do?
I'd like a throw here to Reed on a hitch route.
Nico Nieves, who caught a 44-yard pass last week. Fumble! Porter able to find it and get out of the end zone. Barely.
Oh, man.
Gosh.
Porter got a little excited. There was a lot of space here on the near side, and I think he saw that as much as anybody else did. So now 3rd down with the ball just outside the goal line. I don't think you can mark it any closer to the goal line. And it looks like we're just going to have a QB power sneak to try to get some space for Ryan Reed. That's exactly what's going to happen. And offensive line trying to get a bit of a push. And Porter's going to be down at the 3-yard line. And that's where we're going to have 4th down for the Crimson Storm. So an unenviable starting position. SNU unable to do much with it, but at the same time, you thank your lucky stars that you didn't have a fumble into the end zone there and that you're able to punt it away without any issue.
Yeah, definitely, and this is where it comes in handy to have a punter like Ryan Reed, who can hopefully get you out of a situation like this.
Reed sends a low spiral away. It hits at the 37. And it'll roll up to the 49-yard line, and that's where SNU will down it. So a 46-yard kick for Ryan Reed. Not exactly flipping the field, but certainly doing a lot with a little.
Yeah. And when when you're trying, your main objective is to not step out of the back of the end zone because your foot's on the line, you'll take a punt that cuts through the wind that's coming across even where you're punting. So not his best, but you'll live with it.
Certainly not his worst either.
Yeah.
So 1st and 10 Southeastern at the SNU 49-yard line. The SNU defense pitching a shutout thus far. 7:33 to go before halftime. Hatley, the give is to Shavers, running right up the back of his offensive lineman, and he will pick up 2 down to the 47-yard line. Unable to get any push behind his left tackle, Kyle McCrory.
Yeah, and Jaden Simmons was the first man to kind of make contact on that play. You know what he did really well? As he filled his gap and he wrapped up, and as he was driving his feet against the running back, he gave time for his teammates to come try to rip the football out. That's how you create turnovers. So
blitz coming, picked up nicely. Hatley's pass is wide of Hatcher on the far sideline, and it'll bring up 3rd down and 8.
Still Southeastern. I don't know about you guys. They seem out of sync. They've been able to run on the power, but I don't know that they've really had any success doing anything else.
No. And we talked about this before, but SNU just being much more aggressive, I think, on both sides of the football. And like you said, we've talked about Southeastern not having the biggest offensive line, but SNU also doing a good job of exploiting that factor as well.
Hatley back to pass. Looked like he was looking for Pittman. Down the sideline, he, again, still looking for Pittman. That falls incomplete. I believe we're going to get a holding call on McCrory as Jason Gully was putting pressure on Hatley and forcing him out. There is a flag in the secondary from the back judge. And it's actually going to be a hold on SNU.
Yeah. Man, I don't know how the main referee didn't see the left tackle again. Take your pick on whatever holding or blocking the back penalty you wanted to call, but maybe they just want to cut him some slack.
So 1st and 10 for Southeastern now at the SNU 37-yard line. Hatley back to pass. Looking again for Pittman, and it's going to be intercepted! Jaquel Davis, who else? And he's got space down the sideline, and a flag comes in. But Davis down the sideline. He's going to be taken down at the 11-yard line. There is a flag back at the 44-yard line. There's a Southeastern offensive lineman down on the field. Chaos all over the place, but either way, it's an SNU interception. And another tremendous play from Jaquel Davis.
Yeah.
And it all started with the twist stunt that they ran. So number 53, Simmons, runs a twist stunt with the left end. And when the left end goes out, man, it just opened wide open. So it rushed Hatley's throw, and he made a really ill-advised throw and an even better play to pick the ball off. Still no word on the flags, but what a great return. And you could see the defense when that ball was you could see life kind of coming to their bones when that ball was picked off. You saw all 11 guys running down to the field. I think they were all down at the 20 by the end of the play.
Yeah, it looks like Jason Gully might have got a block in the back on the return.
That will be the call. It'll be a 10-yard penalty from the spot. But again, SNU maintaining possession. And Andy Lambert just not pleased with the official. The head linesman has been getting a lot of Andy Lambert today.
Yeah, and this is probably why maybe why we've seen a little more flags over here against SNU. I didn't see the play, but
Lambert electing to go with the no headset button-down look today, and love it. He is free to harass. So 1st and 10, SNU at their own 34-yard line. Fakes the sweep to Sanders. Porter picking his way across the defense. Nearly broke free there. But the big number 94, Roderick Kirby, there on the tackle, prevented a bigger gain than 3. And Porter was very close to breaking that and had blockers on that far side.
Yeah, if he breaks that tackle, I don't know if anybody's touching him again.
Yeah, something SNU obviously wants to do a lot of is run Gage Porter. And unfortunately, it just hasn't been a successful play. Gage, 9 carries for 18 yards this far. So getting a lot of carries and just not able to do a lot with it up the middle.
Porter swings it out to Sanders, gets a nice block from Shellmeyer. But Josh Malumba, the safety, flies in to make the tackle after just a gain of 2. Another flag in the backfield.
Yeah, and it's in the spot of a holding, and if it would be, it'd be on Hunter Jones. But, man, Hunter Jones looked like he had his jersey above his head during that play. So,
and that is going to be on Hunter Jones, and Jones can't believe it. But the 10-yard penalty will move the ball back to the 27-yard line. So it'll bring up 2nd and 17 now for SNU. And guys, just penalties all over the place. Really both ways, but really on the Crimson Storm here in this first half, as we're down to 5:30 and counting here in the second quarter. Nate Walker goes in motion to the far side of the field. Porter runs to the near side. Good option call, and he's going to carry that up to the 32-yard line. Taken down on the play by Connor Swope.
Yeah,
came in today the leading tackles per game man in the conference, 13 per game, 5.5 tackles for loss as well.
This is a good patient run. It really looked like it was going to be a loss from the start. And even for a split second, it looked like it might be another ill-advised pitch, but he just slow played it and found a gap, got a few yards.
So 3rd down and 12 for SNU after that pickup of 5. 2 wide receivers near side, 1 to the far side, and Shellmeyer in the backfield with Porter. Now Nate Walker going in motion. Porter, quick slant to Reed roll-offs, and he's going to stretch for the first down up to the 45-yard line. And Reese, you should know because you're the same way. It pays to be 6'5".
Yeah, you get that extra stretch there at the end. If you throw it within a 5-6 foot radius of Reed roll-offs, he's going to come get down with it, 9 times out of 10. He was covered. He was not wide open on that slant route. Gage Porter, good throw. Reed roll-offs with a better finish there to get the first down.
Yeah, we talked about this week 1 with Reed. Reed is an effort play guy. You don't get the first down if you don't have effort on that play.
Running back either side of Gage Porter here on 1st and 10 from their own 45. The give is to Nate Walker, and he fumbled the football, able to pick it up. Flag comes in again from the referee. Walker lost 1 on the play. Looked like he had some space on the far side.
Yeah, the refs are not liking the cut blocks by SNU today. I think they're going to get another block below the waist to Shellmeyer.
That is going to be the call on Christian Shellmeyer, so a 15-yard penalty will move the ball back to the 30-yard line.
And correct me if I'm wrong here, legal block below the waist only applies 5 yards down the field. That flag looked like it was right at the line of scrimmage.
I think you're right. And something that the coaches teach on the offensive side of the ball is when you run the ball to the perimeter, we will cut block guys. It's obvious that SNU, the skill position guys, are a lot smaller than the guys they're facing on defense, and so they're going to cut block. It's just something that they got to do to move the football in the run game. Danny Ramos did an excellent job of that last year, and so far SNU just getting caught a lot with these block below the waist.
So 1st and 25 from their own 30. Porter running the option. Great pitch to Shellmeyer. He's got lots of space to the 50, and he's taken down there. And another flag comes in on the far sideline. They're going to spot him down at the 49-yard line, so a pickup of 19. Yeah. Option run to perfection there.
Yeah, and they're going to get Reed, and this is a frustrating penalty because it's a 15-yard gain either way. Reed just a little overly ambitious on the last probably 5 yards of that block, kind of pulled his jersey back in. But, man, when's the last time we had to play without a flag? It seems like this whole quarter has just been flags.
So a 19-yard gain instead becomes just a 9-yard gain, plus it's still first down. So
it's kind of a positive for SNU.
It is. In the end, it's now 1st and 16 instead of 1st and 25. So all things considered, not the worst thing in the world. But it still would have been 2nd and 6. It's now 1st and 16. So we'll see if we can go flagless on this play. Porter chatting with the offensive line. Now set. Pulls Sanders in motion. Running to the left. Picking his way. Trying to get across the field. And nope. Flags everywhere. Just not going to happen today, guys.
It's really unbelievable to see this many flags consecutively.
And especially coming from a team like SNU who just doesn't get a lot of penalties. They haven't the entire season. And to see them flag like this, definitely disheartening for a team who's trying to get the first win of the season.
So move it back. Now it will be 1st and 26 at the 29-yard line. So net yards on this drive are -4. And we'll keep track of that. So after all these plays, SNU has moved backwards 4 yards.
And it's still first down.
And it's still first down. So 1st and 26. Porter fakes, gives to Nate Walker up the middle, trying to break free. Just could not quite get out of the grasp of number 48, Emmanuel Hafford. Nearly broke it, and a Bronx cheer from the SNU crowd as there was no flag thrown on that play.
You know,
kudos to the SNU crowd.
That's right. They're feeling what we're feeling. The funny thing is, though, it looked like there could have been a hold on the left guard, but we'll live with that, and good run by Nate Walker.
So 2nd and 16 from the 39. I think the officials are taking the old adage, you can call a hold on every play, a little too literally today. Porter fakes, gets the blitz out of there, and just throws that one away. Shellmeyer was in the area, and that screen pass was blown up very nicely by Southeastern.
Yeah, and that's it's a frustrating play to watch, but that's a really smart play by Porter. So he set up the screen on the backside. The defensive end for Southeastern makes a great play on it. Porter gets away, and instead of trying to force that screen in there, which is you hate to do that because it's an easily interceptable pass, he just buries it in the dirt and lives to fight another play.
So now 3rd and 16 at their own 39-yard line. 3 wide receivers to the right. Nate Walker goes in motion to the top of the formation. Porter back to pass, got all kinds of time. He's going to air it deep. He's got Nico Nieves out there. And it's going to fall incomplete. Number 8, Jelon Freeman, the safety in coverage. I thought a good no call there by the back judge as Nieves kind of wrapped up Freeman a little bit trying to get through to that pass.
Yeah, any no call is a good no call right now after all that. But
so,
yeah, I agree.
So after the Jaquel Davis interception and everything in between and 20 penalties, SNU moves the ball 6 yards, and Ryan Reed will be punching it away. SNU still with a 7-0 lead, just over a minute to go before halftime. Reed sends this one away. It's going to be Hatcher at the 21-yard line. Nobody over there to block for him, and he's wrangled down at the 27-yard line, 26-yard line.
And when you run a fake punt early in the game, if you're the defense who gets fooled, you're going to run safe punt pretty much the rest of the game. And so the problem with safe punt is no one's blocking.
That'll take us to a timeout on the field. 1:03 to go first half. SNU still leading this one 7-0. We'll be back after this. Just FYI, Tim's in charge with you guys at halftime because I got to go down on the field, get my ring.
Oh, wow.
for basketball's conference championship.
Dang, dude.
It's as big as my face.
Is it really?
Oh, it's I happened to walk into the coach's office when he got them in. It literally covers half my finger. They're so big.
Sharon and Lee are compliance athletic assistant AD. Hers is that big.
Oh my gosh.
Do you know how much bigger guys' rings are than girls' rings?
Right.
All right, coming back. One minute to go before halftime. SNU still leading Southeastern 7-0. You know, they say football might end up being flag football at one day because of all the tackling and everything. It's been flag football today, but not in a good way. Southeastern 1st and 10 at their own 26-yard line. Hatley looking to the far side. Knocked away. Cameron Wells. Great break on the ball, and he bats that one to the turf.
Just 2 out routes, but that out route across the field is really hard to throw, and it's always a danger of getting intercepted, and it almost was a pick six right there.
Wells, a sophomore, guy that Andy Lambert talked about in pregame, has done very well stepping in for the injured Dorian Harris. 2nd and 10, Hatley looking right again. Wells again with a sure tackle. Hatcher made the catch this time, and a timeout quickly called by Southeastern.
That's an interesting timeout. I don't know. I mean, I guess they have 2 more, but it's not like they got a first down on that play.
No, so it'll be 3rd and about 6 after the timeout. 49 seconds to go first half, and guys, we'll certainly talk about this a lot more at halftime, but overall a very, very good first half for SNU on both sides of the ball.
Yeah, we talked about this already, but it just feels different. And I think SNU, especially on the defensive side of the ball, they're bringing pressure. They're at least causing the quarterback to make throws that he normally wouldn't make. And we've seen, against Henderson State, for the most part, the quarterback was able to sit back and just pick apart the defense. But we've seen this afternoon really what SNU is able to do when they get pressure, force some poor throws, and SNU able to get a turnover to that interception.
Yeah, defensively, it's definitely been the best half of football they've played all year, without a doubt. They seem like they're making decisions without overthinking it, and that's when defense becomes fun, and it also is when defense kind of becomes a second nature thing, and they play better.
And on 3rd down, looks like we have a little bit of movement. And the line judge on the far side is indicating it's going to be – nope, they are not going to call Spurlock.
Wow.
Looked like he was pointing at Spurlock as the guy who jumped in and caused the offense to false start, but looks like he did not jump into the neutral zone, so a false start on the right tackle. Number 55 out there, Deontay Granger. So now it makes it 3rd and 11 for Southeastern. And 49 seconds to go first half. Southeastern still with 2 timeouts. SNU with 1. And guys, you get an incompletion here. SNU with an opportunity to maybe do something with the ball. Hatley takes the snap. Back to pass. Spurlock trying to get through. Hatley directing traffic. He's got Deuce Pittman open right at midfield. And Jaquel Davis playing soft coverage. Kind of slipped a little bit. Trying to get back to his break, and big completion for the first down for Southeastern. Right at midfield. It'll be 1st and 10 with 41 seconds to go in the first half. Hatley looking to the sideline for the signal. He's got 2 wide receivers to the right. That's Hatcher and Kincaid. Pittman to the near side along the SNU sideline. Shavers in the backfield with him. Hatley back to pass. Plenty of time. Looking down the sideline for Shavers. And he runs out of bounds, and that falls incomplete. Good coverage there by Noah Campbell on the play.
Yeah, and it's not a bad pass. But when your coverage, when you're running the guy out of bounds, and it seems like just about every deep pass that Southeastern has thrown, the pass isn't bad, but the coverage is so tight that's forcing wide receivers to go out of bounds. So even if they make a great play on it, it's going to be an incompletion.
So 2nd and 10 from midfield. 2 wide receivers left now, one to the right. Blitz coming from Angel Hernandez. Picked up nicely, but James Love is there, and that's another sack for the Crimson Storm. Southeastern quickly calls timeout, but it's a loss of 10. And James Love, the senior from Cincinnati, with another sack for SNU. That's their 3rd one this afternoon.
Yeah, James Love, a guy he's just waited his turn. He's dealt with a couple injuries, and finally senior year he gets to get on the field a little bit, and just a great play by him in a situation where the opponent's going to be trying to throw the football. A pass rush is going to be important to force a poor throw, and just a great play by James Love there to get the sack.
Yeah, and another play where they bring pressure from a linebacker.
Mm-hmm.
So on that big 3rd down conversion, they rush 3. There's good effort, but the quarterback has all the time in the world. They add that literally just one extra rusher. So from 3 to 4. And the 5 offensive linemen for Southeastern all game have not been able to figure out these stunts or blocks, even just from 4 rushers. And it's proved to be really effective for SNU and pin Southeastern in bad positions.
So 3rd and 20 now. Hatley takes the snap, getting pressure from Love again. Screen pass to Shavers. Campbell with great pursuit. He's going to be chopped down at the 47-yard line. And the clock will run, and that will take us to halftime here at SNU Football Stadium. SNU going to go in the locker room, leading this one 7-0 over Southeastern. And guys, just a tremendous first half for SNU. We'll talk about it on the other side. Again, your score at halftime: Crimson Storm 7, Savage Storm 0. We'll take time out when we come back. First half stats and analysis, as well as a look at the GAC Rewind from last week. You're listening to SNU Football here on the SNU Radio Network.
When we get a stat sheet, we can run through that too.
Run through the stats.
And they should be Dude, the thing that worries me though is their defense looks good.
Welcome back here at halftime, ladies and gentlemen. Tim Shea along with you as Luke McConnell has headed downstairs. They're getting ready to do a ring ceremony honoring the 2018-19 SNU men's basketball team, back-to-back GAC champs. So Luke is down there taking a part in that ceremony. I'm helping fill in, along with Landry Franks and Reese Carlson. And guys, we talked about it. You and Luke have talked about it in the first half. The perimeter defense, especially in the secondary, has been key for SNU. They've elected to try and bring pressure from up the middle and leave their corners on islands out there, and they've played very well on the outside against these talented wide receivers for Southeastern.
Yeah, they absolutely have. And when you have talented corners, it's an easy decision to make. And what's also helped, and we've been talking about this, but it's when you have an offensive line who seems really confused by any kind of additional stunt, so any kind of movement from a D tackle or an end, and then you send a linebacker where you think one of those are going to be, and they can't block it, you're going to have success, and it makes the corner's job easier. So if you're running man-to-man and there's just the quarterback has to make quicker decisions, the man-to-man is much easier. The throw is worse. The routes are shorter. And so we've seen Southeastern's kind of their passing game has been reduced down to hitch routes or slant routes, and they can't really run RPO or anything that they'd want to run because they don't have the time or the right people to block any of that.
Landry, I know as a wide receiver, when you played, it's something that you have to get into a rhythm with your quarterback. And when we look at the stats, Southeastern, a team that relies heavily on the pass, just 8 for 19 in that first half with 1 interception. Talk about, as a wide receiver, how you go into a halftime and try to make an adjustment, and what SNU can do to counter that, anticipating those adjustments from the wide receivers on the outside.
Yeah, well,
I got it backwards.
That's all right.
Yeah, Landry's my wide receiver.
No, I always longed to play wide receiver. I was never athletic enough. Reese, I'll let you handle it, man.
Yeah, so you're just asking about the adjustments.
The adjustments and the counter adjustments that we'll see from the SNU guys, trying to make sure you adjust how you approach your route, what foot you might lead off of, and what can we expect to see SNU do in the second half to try and make sure that the play continues on the outside like it has been so far?
Yeah, I think, Landry, you hit on it. They trust those corners. They're athletic guys. They're young guys. And so SNU most of the season has said, okay, we're going to play safe. We're going to rush 3. We're going to keep everything in front of us. We'll let them have the 5-6 yards. Today's felt a little different. Not only have they, as Southeastern, not able to complete the deeper passes, but underneath, we've seen a couple great pass breakups, a couple by Jaquel Davis. They're not even able to complete a lot of the intermediate stuff either. And so I think for SNU, as a coach, you go back, you encourage your guys and say, hey, we're going to keep bringing pressure because it's working. So just make sure that, you're playing tight one-on-one coverage. We know they're going to try to throw the underneath stuff. But even for the deep balls, like we said, we've seen a lot of pass breakups, great plays by Jaquel, and a lot of the times the receivers are just getting ran out of bounds. So hopefully we see some of the excellence continue for the secondary for SNU.
On the offensive side of the football, the penalties have been a bit of an issue, but what we have seen is we've seen the ability to make some plays and get some moderate gains that have been able to keep this team on the field. Third down's been a problem so far this year. It hasn't really been a problem as much today, in part because of the penalties. We haven't been in third down very much. There's been a lot of repeat first and repeat second downs, but there's also been some conversions. So the ability to stay on the field, I think, has been key in this first half.
Yeah. When you have control of the ball, you get to dictate the speed of the game, the pace of the game, and offensively, SNU's offense functions, and Reese, correct me if I'm wrong, but functions on controlling the clock. Mm-hmm. Like they want the defense to play and adjust to their game. So you're never going to see anything like a really quick no-huddle spread offense unless there's a big play, But they want to dictate the pace of the game, and when you can do that, when you're converting third downs, when you hold the ball for long periods of time, it exhausts a defense. I mean, it wears them out, and that's where you get to see. And we even saw it kind of towards the end of the second half, and there was some holding penalties. But the run game, the power, just simple plays that in the first half or the first quarter seemed like there was no room to run. all of a sudden you're getting chunk yards from Nate Walker and you're getting chunk yards from Gage Porter. And it's really the game really starts to open up because the defense is tired and exhausted.
When we look at this Southeastern team coming in, they only had 2 drives where they scored this year of more than 5 minutes on the season. They had a long drive here today, but they weren't able to get any points on it. What does that do as a player on either side of the ball when you see your defense be able to make that stand, get off the field, and keep that 0 on the scoreboard in a situation where the team has had the ball for a long period of time and you're able to get it back for your offense?
Yeah, that's huge in terms of toughness and endurance. Coach Lambert will often talk about let's make them drive. A lot of teams love to have a big play, sure, and throw the 50-yard touchdown and get off the field, but how many offenses actually want to go and run 16, 17 plays? Your guys are tired, man. That's not as attractive to do. It's really easy to have a one-hit 40-yard run, but not a lot of teams want to go the distance and drive the football. And so that's exactly what SNU is making them do. Hey, we're not going to give up the big play.
Right.
We'll let you nickel and dime us to death, but ultimately that hasn't been working for this Southeastern team. And so it does a lot for both sides of the ball because from a defense perspective, you're saying, hey, we'll give you the short stuff, but you're not going to beat us with one play here today.
We've talked about it. You guys talked about it a lot in the first half. The youth on the Southeastern Oklahoma State front has been exposed a bit by the stunting, by the twisting, all the different things that you do in the interior of the line. But I think also you have to look at the absence of Roland Kinsall back there at that quarterback spot. Dalton Hatley has made some good throws, but he's shown some youth back there as well, and I think that's important for SNU to be able to take advantage of.
Yeah, and you can tell, honestly, the biggest thing, and we saw it even with the interception, is just the arm strength isn't there. Kinsall has a big arm. And the first 2 drives, you saw him make some passes that were pretty impressive. And Hatley, it's like you were saying, Tim, he's not a bad quarterback. He's not a bad quarterback, but man, he those out routes seem to really be hurting him, and even some of those far hitch routes, he's not getting it there fast enough for his wide receivers to make a move even on it. So the things that, like Reese was saying, they're trying to nickel and dime them down the field with these routes. They're even more effective when they're not nickels and dimes, they're 25-yard plays, and just because the arm strength, the ball's not getting there fast enough, inexperience maybe, it's really kind of halted their entire offensive strategy.
Well, guys, we're going to step aside as the sound of the storm has taken the field. We had a request from some folks wanting to see the band at home games on the stream, so we're going to let the band take it away. But, guys, thanks so much for being here again today. I know you guys and Luke will be back here with the second half in just a few moments, and we'll talk to you then. That's going to do it for the halftime portion of the broadcast here today. We are going to turn it over now to the sound of the storm on the SNU Radio and Video Network, presented by Crossover Radio, sports from a different perspective.
How many viewers we have?
Right now we
had quite a bit that first game.
We did. Although a lot of them were Southern Art people talking crap the entire time.
Like on the comments?
Yes.
That's hilarious.
The comments were vile.
Were they?
Well, the other side's even worse. Defensively, their average drive is 5 plays on 47.
Was that for Tim?
Man, let me see, man. Let's see the ring. Why aren't you wearing it? Oh, totally. When we come drag my arm away. Pure gold. Where's your name engraved on it, Luke? Dude, NCAA. Dang! Hey, I'm just telling you. We need to tell Lambert that when SNU wins a conference, it'll be pure gold. Pure gold. That's what it is. Yeah, surely you must have been fake. Did you see the page? Have you seen the Patriots? Their last rate? It's insane. It's insane. It's huge. I mean, it's like this.
Indeed, we are.
What? Yeah, they're like real. But I mean, Robert Kraft. He's doing
I saw a funny one this morning. Speaking of the Patriots, somebody has gone through and taken a picture from the Family Guy episode where Peter Griffin was one of the Patriots.
yeah, it's great.
They memed it up. Even Peter Griffin had one of the I saw that. That is just awesome.
How'd they do in the tournament?
Yeah, how we were 13th and we faced the number 1 team in the country in the region. So it makes no sense to me. It's ridiculous. Well, it's not even really the MIAA bias as much as it's more like postseason structure. It's just really poor structure.
What's the plan in place?
Even still, though, the regional structure makes it really difficult to get a true 1 through 64 seed in your bracket. Hands down. Yeah.
That was the SNU Sound of the Storm. They will be getting off the field here as we send it to a break. And when we come back, Luke McConnell and the guys will be back for second half action. This is SNU Football on Crossover Radio and the SNU Video Network.
There you go, sir.
7 receptions, 185, 3 TDs. I'm telling you, man.
About time.
When I was in high school, I went to a Texas Tech quarterback camp.
You did.
Yeah. I think it was in between my freshman and sophomore year. And what's his name was the OU's coach. What's his name? What can I think of his name?
Lambert.
OU's coach.
Yeah.
What's his name?
What is his
What's
name?
OU's
Welcome back to halftime here at SNU Football Stadium. The Crimson Storm leading Southeastern 7-0 as we get set for the second half here in Bethany. Guys, overall, again, a great performance from SNU on both sides, but from an aesthetic standpoint, not the most pleasing. SNU with 9 penalties for 95 yards in that first half. Southeastern 4 for 30. And guys, overall, just, let's see here, 246 yards combined total offense for these two teams. A lot of that dealing with penalties and just big negative plays. Guys, who's the biggest standout to you in the first half?
Yeah, I don't know if there's one person in particular. I would just say defensively, the linebackers are making great plays, and their roles and responsibilities seem to be a little different than normal today. But even when Southeastern started running the ball well, some coaching adjustments happened, and they started fitting gaps and played well, both pass and run. And then one surprise that I was that I thought had a really good half, who's not number one on the 2 deep, but Jason Gully, man, he's played his heart out today. He did have a bad penalty, but man, he's been all over the field making tackles. I think he has a couple sacks. So if I had to boil it down to one, I'd pick Jason Gully, just for you, Luke.
There you go. Reese, how about you?
I'm going to go with Landon Walker. He had that fake punt run. He's actually tied for leading SNU in rushing so far. If you would have told me a defensive end is leading the team in rushing, I would have thought you were crazy. But we have Landon Walker here, and then he's also made some good plays on defense, helped force some pressure, and I think he was in there on a sack as well. Great job by him.
What about you, Luke?
I'm going to go – I don't know, guys. There's just been so many good guys. I'm going to go with Angel Hernandez. He's been really disruptive on several blitzes, and don't believe he has any official sacks, but he has been a big factor in some of the sacks that SNU has generated today. But guys, something that really stands out to me based on the first half stats, SNU 22 plays, 129 yards in the first half. Southeastern has run 15 more plays than SNU to this point. 37 plays, just 117 yards. So SNU, while they've been on the field for a lot of plays, time of possession is pretty much even, 15.5 minutes for Southeastern, 14.5 for SNU. So SNU's been on the field a lot more plays, but they've forced Southeastern to dink and dunk, and those sacks and other negative plays in the run game in particular have really helped the SNU defense be able to stay fresh longer.
Yeah, without a doubt. I'll be anxious to see. And Luke, I'd love your thoughts on this too, but even though it was a good half for SNU, it was pretty sloppy.
Yes,
it
was. You can't have 9 penalties for 95 yards and call it clean.
Yeah, absolutely. So I want to see really from the onset how both teams try to adjust to those issues, how they adjust to both penalty issues, and obviously the refs are going to call holding. Like, it's to be anticipated at this point. But I'd really want to see if Southeastern tries to commit to the run game, even on plays where they don't have any success, and what SNU does offensively. They had really great opportunities, but seem to stall out frequently. I want to see how they adjust.
Pablo Tarango on the field for the first time today for Southeastern, set to kick this one away. Nico Nieves, Noah Turbyfill, and Jaquel Davis back deep to receive. Tarango with a little bit of a pooch kick. It's going to land at the 20. Jaquel Davis picks it up at the 15. Looking for some space. He has it down the SNU sideline and just unable to stay in bounds, but he will give SNU great field position up at the 39-yard line. Actually, they're going to mark it at the 38. So a great start here for SNU, and we'll see what the offense can do. Again, 129 yards on 22 plays, 71 yards on the ground, 58 through the air. The lone score, the 31-yard pass from Gage Porter to Noah Turbyfill. And SNU definitely feeling good about themselves here. And we'll see what second half adjustments both teams make. Sanders coming in motion. The give is to Nate Walker around the left side. Late pull there from Porter, and Walker gains 1 up to the 39-yard line.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I'd love to see him get Nate Walker more involved. Their only all-conference guy only had 3 carries in the entire first half. So there they go right off the bat. Give him a carry around the edge.
Walker comes off looking injured, not sure what the issue is, kind of holding both arms, a little limp. And he straps his helmet right back on and says, I'm good to go.
Yeah, could be one of those old football stingers.
It's a diamond formation in the backfield for SNU. Reed roll-offs to the near side. Now Sanders coming in motion. Porter to the left, flip to Turbyfield. He's got a blocker in front, and he will take it out of bounds. Looked like a late hit there on Jared Bell, but no flag on the play, and Turbyfield gets up to the 45-yard line where it will bring up 3rd down and 3. Guys, look like Turbyfield was a step out of bounds before Bell laid the wood there.
Yeah.
Refs might have had a chat. Like, let's wait 5 minutes to throw a flag.
That's right. No flags
Regardless
until
of the
halfway through
egregious
the third.
nature.
Right.
You know, they probably have something to do later on this evening, so got to get the game clock going.
So SNU comes out with the offensive line. Hunter Jones is at center and Caleb Bates at right guard. So 3rd and 3, 2 wide receivers to the right, 1 to the left. Porter looking left. Pressure from behind, and he's going to be sacked. Andrew Macbeth got Porter back at the 36-yard line. Porter never saw him coming, and Macbeth, the senior, with 7 career sacks and 19 career tackles for loss, gets his first of the day, and it's going to be a 3-and-out for SNU after great starting field position.
Yeah, and honestly, there seemed to be some kind of alignment confusion. You could see Lambert telling, I don't remember who it was, but to scoot over seemed too close together.
Ryan Reed, knuckling punt. It's going to be well out of bounds. And we'll see where the officials mark this one. Not a good kick at all. Officials still walking, and they're going to mark it out of bounds at the 42-yard line. So not a good kick to start things. And we will take a timeout here. 13:04 to go third quarter. SNU leading 7-0 here on the SNU Radio Network. We'll be back right after this. SNU out on defense for the first time here in the second half after a quick 3-and-out from the offense. And we'll see if the Crimson Storm can continue the stellar play that they had in the first half. 3 sacks and an interception for the SNU defense. And it will still be Dalton Hatley at quarterback for the Savage Storm. The give is to Shavers. He's met in the backfield. Tristan McCubbins and Dylan Metter in on that tackle. Going to mark him down at the line of scrimmage. Might give him 1 on the play, so it'll be 2nd down and 9. Tristan McCubbins getting some penetration there from his nose tackle position.
Yeah, and it does seem like they're doing an auto stunt when they have kind of that tight end in or kind of that sneaker back in. So wherever that tight end is lined up, that outside linebacker is cheating in. Angel Hernandez closed the gap really quickly and forced him inside.
Trips to the far side of the formation. Deuce Pittman down on the SNU sideline. Hatley looking right. Sails high on Hatcher. Falls incomplete. 3rd down and 9 for Southeastern. And Savage Storm unable to string anything together through the air Just 8 of 19 in the first half, and that makes them 8 of 20.
Yeah, just not a lot of rhythm. And I'm just looking at their offensive line right now. They've had at least 2 different guys playing right tackle. They have one of their right tackles playing left guard right now. So it just kind of displays the confusion and lack of rhythm that this team has been feeling so far.
High snap. Hatley brings it down, looking right. A lot of space over there. And that's going to be Hatcher. A lot of space down the sideline. Josh Jordan can't bring him down, and he's down inside the SNU 15-yard line.
Great catch and run by Hatcher. Caught looked like a deep curl route, and instead of catching it going back outside, he puts his foot in the ground, goes inside, and able to get at least 20 yards after the catch there.
A lot of space and cushion given there by Cam Wells. So it'll be 1st and 10 for Southeastern at the SNU 14-yard line. Southeastern quickly into the red zone, and SNU allowed all 13 trips in the red zone this year to score. Shavers shakes and bakes and gets inside the 10. Tackled there by Trent Smith. Jake Hansen in on that tackle as well. Of the 13 trips so far this season, SNU's given up 10 touchdowns. And needing to bow up and make a stand here on 2nd and 5 from the 9-yard line. Wide receiver to either side, tight end to either side, and Shavers in the backfield with Hatley. Now Harwell goes in motion to the right. Shavers follows him, cuts inside of Dylan Metter, and he's taken down just outside the 6-yard line. Trent Smith again in on that tackle. It'll be 3rd down and 2, and Noah Campbell will take a seat. It looks like he's got some cramping going on there. We'll keep it here, guys, and again, just like the big play for SNU on offense changes the dynamic of the rest of the day. One big pass play here for Southeastern could change the dynamic of this entire game if Southeastern's able to capitalize here with points.
Yeah, especially if it's a one-possession game. I mean, all of a sudden, SNU with all the momentum up 7-0, and Southeastern gets one big play. Like you said, Luke, that can quickly change the momentum of this game, and it'll be interesting to see what Southeastern does. Hasn't been able to find a real identity on the offensive side of the ball so far, and so let's see how they try to convert here on 3rd down.
Yeah, and it seems like every run play that they've run, they've had some kind of formation of 2 tight, and then they've run a power. So we'll see if that happens again.
Power formation. Hatley fakes the pitch, lobs it to the back of the end zone, wide open for the touchdown. It's going to be number 33, Ryan Roncess. And just like that, Southeastern knots the score, pending the point after touchdown.
Yeah, and they just ran a play that I think in the first quarter they had run a couple times on short yardage downs, which is just a, kind of a tight pitch that looks like it's going to go outside, but they cut back inside. And then this time they fake the pitch and just throw a little tight end dump route for a touchdown.
Tarango on for the extra point, scoops it up, and it is good. And just like that, 10:53 to go in the 3rd quarter, and we are all tied up at 7. SNU coming up on offense after this short break. This is SNU Football on Crossover Radio Sports. 5 minutes into the third quarter, we are all tied up at 7. Southeastern 58-yard drive that went 2 minutes and 11 seconds. And the touchdown pass to Ryan Roncess from Dalton Hatley ties this one up at 7. It's 6 plays on that drive. Pablo Tarango sends this one away. It's going to come down to Jaquel Davis at the 3. Davis probing up the left side, and he is hammered. And number 34, Cameron Pumphrey, right at the 21-yard line. Big hit there from Pumphrey. Davis was trying to get through a crowd of blockers, but unable to do so. And guys, we've seen SNU be in this position before. Last year on several occasions, coming out of halftime with a lead and just unable to get things going in the second half. And we'll see how SNU responds here. Hunter Jones now at right tackle with Joey Carrion back at center. Noah Turbyfill in the backfield with Porter. Porter fakes, follows Turbyfill, unable to get outside of the tackle of Josh Malumbo on the outside. And Malumbo takes down Porter right at the line of scrimmage. And again, just one broken tackle away, and Porter would have had a big gain, something we've seen a lot this season, really.
Yeah, and, Lambert, he preaches culture, here, and just character in guys, and once guys who have the right character. And you can see the sidelines a little deflated, so they need a big drive right here to try to get some of that momentum back. Southeastern's amped and ready to go, so they need to get a couple first downs, get some momentum back.
Nate Walker goes in motion. Porter fakes the give, and he's grabbed by Macbeth, and Malumbo comes in and finishes off the play. Loss of 4 back to the 17-yard line. Macbeth got a hold of Porter, and Malumbo with a big hit to finish the play off, and now it's 3rd and 14 already for SNU. And just like that, the Crimson Storm might be giving the ball back to Southeastern as well as all the momentum.
Yeah, Landry, you touched on this, but we've talked about fighting and how Lambert wanted a team that was going to come out and fight no matter what. And going in, this is your first game. You've had the lead coming out of half, and so you have a lot of momentum on your side, and then not starting the way that you want to coming out of half.
Hooper in motion, screen pass to Walker. Connor Swope all over it. Takes him down after a 2-yard gain. And Southeastern feeling good after another 3-and-out forced. And Ryan Reed on to punt once again for the Crimson Storm. Good play design, but again, one guy able to break through and make the play, preventing a big gainer for the Crimson Storm there.
Yeah, and this is about as bad of a start to the second half as you could have hoped, or thought of. You start out with 3-and-out, then a bad punt.
Better punt from Reed here. He's going to bounce at the 41-yard line and hop backwards.
And
long snapper Josh Lesner falls on it at the 43-yard line. And that is where Southeastern will take over 1st and 10. So SNU, 2 3-and-outs on offense and a 58-yard touchdown drive given up on Southeastern's first possession. All the momentum with the Savage Storm right now. And SNU needing their defense now to make a play to recapture that momentum that was all in favor of the Crimson Storm in the first half.
Yeah, and it wasn't like, even though there was a touchdown last drive, really it's a mispositioned cornerback trying to make a tackle and missing that created the touchdown.
2 wide receivers right, 1 to the left. Hatley looking left. Long out to Deuce Pittman, and the 6'4" Pittman makes a fingertip catch at the 39-yard line.
Yeah, double
Pick up
move
a
there.
25 on the play.
Double move there by Pittman. He's going to run a slant route and then a pump fake by the quarterback and goes back out. Kind of runs a corner route and a perfect pass. Puts it right on the money right there.
16 on that play, correction. 2 wide receivers right, Pittman to the left. Polk is in the backfield with Hatley. The give is to Polk up the middle, and he's going to be stuffed after a gain of 1. Jazz Pitts was there along with Jake Hansen. And Landon Walker coming up off the bottom of the pile. Again, just a gain of 1 for Polk. Brings up 2nd and 9.
And Polk has been running the football pretty effectively. 6 carries for 35 yards, averaging almost 6 yards a carry. So that's definitely been a bright spot for Southeastern running the football.
3 wide receivers right now. Hatley's looking that way, looking down the seam. And that one falls incomplete in no man's land. Big opportunity there for SNU to come up with an interception, but unable to do so.
Yeah, and Hatcher was kind of begging for a flag on that one, although I'm not quite sure what flag he was looking for, but maybe some of those first half flags.
So 3rd and 9. SNU trying to make a stand here at their own 38-yard line. Southeastern's got 2 wide receivers left, 1 to the right. Shavers in the backfield with Hatley. It's a pump and go. Hatley looking down the left side. He's got Kincaid wide open, and that's going to be a touchdown for Southeastern. 38 yards. Dalton Hatley finds Braxton Kincaid, who got behind Jaquel Davis. And it looked like, guys, just a wide receiver making something happen for his quarterback there.
Yeah, it's been tough for Southeastern to really get anything going on offense, and so it's always great when you have a receiver who can kind of make a play of his own, and quarterback there just had to throw a ball in his general area. He was so wide open there.
Tarango on for the extra point. He, again, scoops that one through for the point after. Again, halfway through the third quarter, Southeastern now leads 14-7 over the Crimson Storm. Again, guys, not the start you wanted there. 2 3-and-outs and 2 touchdown drives for Southeastern to start this one. And, you know, this is where SNU has to respond. And how do you guys think that they should do that?
Well, I think I'm just looking at the stats right now and looking at SNU. There's no doubt they want to run the football. But Gage Porter, he's had 13 carries for a net of 3 yards. So he's averaging 0.2 yards a carry. And so they want to run the quarterback, but at a certain point, and Lander, you mentioned this earlier, every time they run some sort of jet sweep motion, Gage Porter's keeping it 9 times out of 10, and the defense knows that. And so I think you need to mix it up a little bit more on offense if you're SNU.
Jaquel Davis, who gave up the touchdown pass there, talking with his fellow secondary mate Dorian Harris on the sideline as Tarango sends this one deep. Turbyfield's going to take this one at the goal line. Running to the left. He's got a block. And he hurdles those blockers up to the 26, 27-yard line. Looks like they're going to spot the ball at the 28-yard line, 29-yard line thereabouts. That's where SNU will take over 1st and 10.
Yeah, and man, those punt return or those kickoff returns, it look like there's been some green grass, but Southeastern's done a good job kind of around the 25, closing in and staying in their lanes.
3 wide receivers to the right for Porter as Vance Hooper goes in motion to the left. Porter runs the option to the right, and he's immediately swallowed up at the line of scrimmage.
Yeah.
Number 45, Alexi Marshall in on that tackle.
So, Reese, you would know better. You know, I know Coach Lambert's not one for trick plays. However, there are variations to plays that kind of look similar. Lots of Gage Porter runs. Anything that you might try to mix it up?
Yeah,
Porter
I think
swings it out to Hooper, makes a man miss, and tried to cut inside. Connor Swope flying in from his middle linebacker position, and looked like Hooper had plenty of space and didn't need to cut back, and that's what Coach Lambert was just letting him know. Gain of 3 on the play, so it'll bring up 3rd down and 6 at the 33-yard line of SNU.
Yeah, Landry, I think you just see if you can't get your ball to some of the playmakers, Reed Roloffs, Nate Walker, you saw Vance Hooper there, some of the guys who have plus speed on the outside who can make people miss to get something going, whether that comes via screen or, even a short hitch route. We've seen a couple of those so far.
Hooper in motion to the left side. Porter looking that way. Runs it up the middle, trying to dive for the first down, and he comes up a yard and a half shy. And that's going to bring up fourth down once again for SNU. Guys, just not a lot of space in the middle of that Southeastern defense, and Savage Storm closing quickly whenever there is any space for Porter to run.
Yeah, they've ran that fake screen draw play a couple times now, and that might have been the biggest gain we've seen of it so far.
Reed sends this one away. Marquise Gray lets that one bounce out of bounds. They're going to spot that at the 29-yard line. Southeastern will take over 1st and 10, leading 14-7, 5 minutes to go here in the third quarter. And guys, so far this season, SNU has struggled mightily in that second quarter, but put up a lot of fight there by maintaining that first quarter lead. But now it's been the third quarter where we've seen SNU so far this season really, fight and kind of keep things even throughout the season, but not so much today.
Yeah, 3 3-and-outs will wear out any defense. I mean, even though time was off the clock, more than maybe if it was 3 passes, it's still not that much time to be on the sidelines to get a water break if you're playing defense. So you're wearing your guys out.
Shavers around the right side, runs through Josh Jordan. James Love there on the tackle as well. We've got an SNU player down on the field right now. Ball is spotted at the 36-yard line. It's number 9, Anthony Nichols, who was kind of a game-time decision coming into this one. And as the trainer attends to him, we will take a quick break and step aside. 4:52 to go third quarter. SNU trailing Southeastern 14-7. We'll be right back after this. Back to action here. The give is to Polk. Probing around the left side of the line, and he's going to have the first down up to the 42-yard line.
Yeah, and, in the first half, we joked a lot about the holding, but there's been no flags this half. And there's been a couple kind of questionable calls that they seem to let slide. I don't know if they, as a group, decided to take it easy or what, but it even seemed on that play like there could have been kind of a grab by the right guard.
Empty backfield here for Hatley. 5 wide receivers, 3 to the right, 2 to the left. Hatley's looking right, now comes back left. Now he's being pressured by McCubbins, who got a fistful of jersey, unable to bring him down. Pass is incomplete, a little bit high for Hunter Hawthorne. Good pressure there by McCubbins and excellent coverage down the field for SNU. So 4:07 to go third quarter. Southeastern has scored on their first 2 possessions of the half. SNU 3 3-and-outs for their offense. And just like that, a solid first half nullified by the Southeastern success here in the third quarter. Hatley looking to his right. There's a comebacker, and Jaquel Davis with another nice break up there on the pass to Felton Hatcher brings up third down.
Yeah, he's been all over the place today. One thing, though, that Southeastern's doing to get some more time for their passing game, which has been their success in this quarter, and they're just leaving that running back in. He's not even trying to run a check down or anything. I mean, essentially they have 6 guys blocking 4 guys instead of just the offensive line like they had most of the time in the first half.
And this is more the Southeastern we expected to see. Came in averaging over 292 yards passing per game. That was second in the conference. Third down, Hatley looking to the right, wide of Hawthorne. And that's going to bring up fourth down for the Savage Storm. So just what the doctor ordered for SNU. Gave up one first down, but nothing more. And the Savage Storm will have to punt.
Yeah. That's a big momentum shifter for SNU after going 3 and out a couple times on offense and then not able to stop Southeastern on the defensive side of the ball. It's huge for them to get the stop here.
Ball trip back to punt. Reed Roloffs standing at his own 18-yard line to receive. Ball trip, a knuckling bouncing ball, and it gets by Roloffs. Has to fall on it. And he manages to do so at the 5-yard line. That was one of the uglier punts you'll see, but it made it hard on Roloffs to field, that's for sure. He probably wished he would have had a glove for that short hop there off the infield dirt.
Yeah, Reed is always going to see if he can't make a play off a punt that rolls, and unfortunately with that one, Luke, you mentioned it's like taking a hard ground ball, and Reed couldn't quite field it. Now their SNU offense is backed up here on their own 5.
First and 10. The give is to Nico Nieves. Gets a nice block on the outside. Picking his way. And he'll pick up about 7. There's a flag in the backfield. I believe the line judge threw this one. They're going to call an illegal shift on Nieves, so that'll be a half the distance to the goal, and we'll replay first down. So wipe out the 7-yard gain there. And that pushes the ball back inside the 3.
Yeah, I mean, a frustrating penalty. You finally get chunk play. Gage, I think, makes the right read right there and hands the ball off. But unfortunately, the illegal shift, a frustrating penalty.
So SNU now first and 13, we'll call it. Nieves in motion the other way. Porter cuts it up the middle, and he'll get to just shy of the 5-yard line. Guys looked like he had some room to run around the right side of the line, but instead did not follow the block of Will Bates there.
Yeah, he definitely had a lead blocker and some space. It is hard. It's easy for us when we're just watching it from a booth or on YouTube, but it's hard to see that. When you see green grass, you want to run to it. Sometimes you have to be a little bit patient as a runner.
Porter, delayed handoff to Nate Walker, trying to get outside, and a great tackle there on the outside by Tavian Rucker. Walker tried to use his speed to get to the outside, and Rucker said, no, sir. It'll be 3rd and 10 from the 5. SNU in danger of yet another 3 and out, now pinned deep in their own territory. Four wide receivers set here. Andrew Tisdale into the game. Porter takes the snap. Now is in trouble. Trying to find some space. Lobs it upfield, and it's going to fall incomplete between Tisdale and Roloffs. And that's going to bring up 4th down. Porter able to get it out into no man's land. Unfortunate, he didn't have to take a sack in the end zone. And fortunate, SNU was able to come out of that with no penalty in the end zone as well. And Porter's starting to show some signs of all the hits he's taking, slow coming off the field. And SNU will punt once again here in the 3rd quarter with 1:49 to go.
Yeah, you can definitely underestimate how many times Gage Porter is getting hit a game. I mean, not only is he, throwing some passes and taking hits when he's throwing the ball, but also when he's carrying the ball 20 times a game as well.
Reed's punt is caught and down by Lesnar at the SNU 46-yard line. And that is where Southeastern will take over 1st and 10 with 1:40 to go in the third quarter. Savage Storm leading this one 14-7. SNU led at the end of the first half 7-0, courtesy of a 31-yard touchdown pass from Gage Porter to Noah Turbyfield with 4:32 to go in the first quarter. A little bit of an ugly first half both ways with penalties and negative plays, but SNU able to come out in the lead there, but Savage Storm have come out and put together 2 quick touchdown drives while forcing SNU into 4 3-and-outs here in the third quarter. And now Southeastern starting with the ball in plus territory at the SNU 46-yard line. 2 wide receivers and a tight end left. 1 wide receiver to the right. Rashad Polk in the backfield. Hatley looking to take a shot down the sidelines. He's got Ronces, but he's going to be out of bounds. Did not get the foot down in bounds. He did make a nice catch, but the right foot came down first, and that was the one that was out of bounds.
Yeah, that was the tight end there, and went to run kind of a little flare route and then turned it upfield to run a wheel. Pretty good throw, just not able to keep him in bounds, though.
Yeah, and they're able to make these throws in the second half because they have that little bit of extra time.
So 2nd and 10 for Southeastern. Hatley back to pass. No, it's quarterback draw right up the middle. Chased down from behind by Landon Walker. Pickup of 5 for Hatley. So 3rd down and 5 at the SNU 41-yard line. Again, another big opportunity for the Crimson Storm to get a stop here and give their offense another chance. 3 wide receivers right, 1 left for Hatley. Back to pass, and that ball is batted at the line of scrimmage. Landon Walker got his hand up on that one, and that'll bring up 4th down.
And that's just a great play. I mean, he's fighting through a block, and he just finds one arm free, and he just makes a play with it. Like he just has just enough space to reach the quarterback's arm and disrupt the play, and it brings up a 4th down. Does look like they're going to go for it.
Southeastern offense stays on the field, and a huge opportunity for the Storm. Both ways, Storm. Savage and Crimson alike. Hatley will do the pooch kick, sends it very high. Josh Jordan says, everybody get away, and it takes a Southeastern roll and will die inside the 10 once more. Going to down that at the 8-yard line. And that's where SNU will take over. It'll be their 3rd time starting inside their own 10-yard line this afternoon. But fortunately, no miscues coming from that. Knock on wood, of course. But so far, been able to avoid some big mistakes with the ball pinned deep.
Yeah, what a difference Landon Walker's made. I mean, we've mentioned it a couple times, but I can't, discount a guy coming out, played no college football at all. He's starting at defensive end for SNU, and you can argue he's made more big plays for this defensive line than anyone else on the SNU defense. And you saw him there; he was tripping out his offense in a good way and encouraging them to get back on the field with some momentum.
Nieves comes in motion. Porter keeps, tries to find space. And gets back to just the line of scrimmage once again. Connor Swope in on that tackle, along with number 25, Donovan McKnight.
Yeah, it could take us to the end of the quarter.
I believe that will, is the final seconds. 13 seconds to go here in the quarter, and SNU in no hurry. Andy Lambert signaling to let the clock run out. And that is how the third quarter will end. Not the best quarter for SNU this season, but certainly SNU still right in this one, down a touchdown as we head to the final period. Southeastern leads this one 14-7. We'll be back after this short break here on the SNU Radio Network. Quarter getting underway here in Bethany. SNU trailing Southeastern 14-7. Luke McConnell alongside Reese Carlson and Landry Franks. 2nd and 10 for the Crimson Storm at their own 8-yard line. Once again, a tight situation. Porter taking the pitch, gives it to Walker. He's got space on the outside and a big gain of about 13 on that play. To Nate Walker and SNU with their first down of the second half, and doubles their offensive output from the third quarter of just 7 yards.
You got to love that. But what you really like, and Reese, you'll appreciate this being a former wide receiver, man, you had a great block by number 10, Sanders, on the outside. That, I mean, what would have been probably a 5 or 6 yard gain into a first down.
So 1st and 10 SNU. Sanders comes in motion across the formation, gets the handoff. Sanders trying to turn the corner. That's going to be a face mask on Jalon Freeman. So add 15 yards to that 3-yard run. And you kind of saw everyone hold their collective breath on that chop block on the linebacker there. I know I was holding my breath to see if they would throw a flag, but it's going to be a personal foul, 15-yard face mask on Freeman. And so that will aid SNU's cause up to the 41-yard line, where it'll be 1st and 10, Crimson Storm. So SNU moving the ball in a variety of ways here on this drive. And now with a little bit more space, opens up the playbook a little bit more as well.
Yeah, Landry, you mentioned Dalton Sanders blocking. He's a guy who came in as a safety, moved to tight end, and now you're just seeing some of the fruit of his labor, just getting some touches here.
Porter running the option, trying to get outside. Southeastern covers that well. 3 linebackers running right with Porter and Christian Shellmeyer. They give Porter 1 on the play, up to the 42. It'll be 2nd and 9. Guys, just really good pursuit there from the Savage Storm defense.
Yeah, and they're really keying Gage, Porter. I mean, number 47, Swope for Southeastern is really following him wherever he goes.
Porter looking to his left. He's going to get Colby Branch. Pickup of 4 on the play up to the 46-yard line. Nice job by Branch to catch that one inbounds. So it'll be 3rd and 5 coming up for the Crimson Storm. Big opportunity for SNU to keep the drive alive. Down 7 as we tick down to 13 minutes to go here in Bethany. SNU looking for their first win of the season and their first win ever over the Savage Storm. Sanders comes in motion. Porter going left the whole time. Tries to get upfield, and he's going to be stopped shy. As Josh Malumbo again came up from his safety position and shot Porter down after a gain of 2. Jared Bell down on the field for Southeastern. Punt team was coming on for SNU, and maybe the injury timeout gives SNU an opportunity to think things over a little bit.
Yeah, he's bringing both punt team and the offense together. real quick. Probably doesn't want them to necessarily know which one they're going to go with. Looks like punt, but man, on that last run, Gage had quite a bit of green grass, and this maybe comes just from him being his first full year starting, but he has blocking help from his tackle, and what he really needs to do is just put his hand on that tackle's back and follow him into that block. Instead, he runs right past his left tackle, and in doing so, the guy that was supposed to be blocked by the left tackle, the linebacker, comes and makes a great play on him. So instead of a first down, you kind of see that green grass, and again, it's so much easier to dissect it from up above than it is on the field. But he's got to learn to be a little bit more patient, and let the game come to him and follow those blocks.
And after thinking about it, SNU will go for it here on 4th down. 4th and 3 from their own 48-yard line. They need to get to the 49-yard line of Southeastern. Big play here for the Crimson Storm. Porter, quick out, Nate Walker, he's got it, and that's a first down. Nice simple play call and a nice easy pitch and catch from Porter to Walker.
Yeah, great play call. Reed Roloff's running a vertical on the outside. You're going to get the inside receiver, Nate Walker, run a speed out. And that's pretty hard to defend with a guy like Nate Walker running that route.
So SNU moves the chains. 1st and 10 at the Southeastern 47-yard line. Sanders in motion. Porter following Will Bates this time and tried to make something happen. And unable to do so, he's taken down at the line of scrimmage. Hunter Wagneck there on that tackle.
Yeah, I think the coaches were talking not happy about the pull from the freshman Bates, and it looks like they're going to put in Joey Carry-On.
So Carry-On back at center. Hunter Jones at right guard. Will Bates at left guard. 2nd and 10 for SNU. The give is to Sanders. He's got space down the right sideline. Taken down from behind by number 28, Christian Robinson. But a nice job there from Dalton Sanders. Pickup of 8 on the play will bring up 3rd down and 2 from the 39-yard line of Southeastern.
Yeah, and this is why you like. This is what the offense is designed to do, to stay on the field, to run the ball, to control the clock, and give their defense some breathing or some time to catch their breath. I mean, they've only had 2 first downs, but it seems like they've been on the field for an eternity.
So 3rd and 2, 10:36 to go in this one. Porter back to pass. He's got Nate Walker wide open down the middle of the field, and he underthrew him. Intercepted Jeremiah Baltrip, and he runs out of bounds at the 16-yard line. Nate Walker came wide open, and Porter unable to put enough air on that one to the speedy Walker, and Jeremiah Baltrip came over and made the interception, a back-breaking play for the Crimson Storm.
Yeah, that's just their SNU's over concept. They're going to run read roll-offs around it's going to be about a 12-yard in route, and then you're going to have Nate Walker running a little deeper. It looked to me, too, watching it, that they allowed that safety to cover both of those guys. I think Reed's route was a little deep, kind of ran into Walker, and that one safety could play both of those 2 guys, and Gage just did not put enough on it for Nate to run it underneath it.
So a promising drive is turned away by the turnover. Southeastern 1st and 10 at their own 17-yard line. Hatley fakes the give, runs around the left side, lots of space, and he's pushed out of bounds by Jaquel Davis after a gain of 12 up to the 29-yard line. It'll be 1st and 10 Southeastern. Ryan Taylor into the backfield for the first time today at running back for the Savage Storm. Noah Campbell hobbling off the field. He was cramping earlier. So 1st and 10 now for the Savage Storm. The give is to Taylor. Massive hole on the right side. Jake Hansen and Josh Jordan combined for the tackle, but not before a gain of 9. Brings up 2nd and 1 for the Savage Storm, and with 9:45 to go in this one, guys, this is a kind of a make-or-break drive for the Crimson Storm defense.
Yeah, absolutely, and especially since Southeastern's had great success running the football this half. This is one of the things we talked about at halftime, but they've really got to key it up, and these linebackers have to step in these gaps and make some plays. Not just take on blocks, but shed the blocks and make the play.
Taylor running over the left side, tackled right at the line of scrimmage by Ethan Spurlock. Actually, they're going to give him the 1 yard he needed for the first down. Just fell forward enough. So it'll be 1st and 10 at their own 39-yard line. Again, Spurlock on the tackle there. Number 21, Elijah Calhoun, on the field for SNU for the first time today. And that secondary very banged up for the Crimson Storm, but making do. Taylor around the left side. He's got space. Midfield, 40. Can he outrace Trent Smith? He cannot, but he's down to the 18-yard line. Pick up a 43 on that run. And Southeastern in the red zone once again here in the second half. Fresh legs for Ryan Taylor. And he pays dividends for the Savage Storm with that 43-yard run.
Yeah, Elijah Calhoun came around the edge there, actually split the double team by 2 offensive linemen, snuck in, just wasn't able to finish the tackle, and no one else could reach him either.
1st and 10 at the 17. Give us to Polk. And he carries tacklers down inside the 10-yard line. They're going to mark him down at the 8. So it'll be 2nd and 1 at the 8-yard line with 8 minutes to go. And SNU needing a big stop here as the clock has now become their enemy. Wide receiver either side, 2 tight ends right for Southeastern. Turns and gives to Polk, cuts it upfield. He's got the first down. Actually, no, he does not. Looked like he had gotten down closer to the 7-6-yard line, but judges on both sides of the field mark him short, so it'll be 3rd down and 1 from the 8.
Yeah, and they're just trying, these offensive linemen are just trying to use their size and weight to wash this front line down, and then they're going to the second level. So it's just a zone concept, and these defensive ends and defensive linemen really have to do a disciplined job of sitting in the chair, even though they're tired on this 3rd down.
Big play here for the Crimson Storm, needing a stop. Polk up the middle. He's going to have the first down, still battling inside the 5, down to, trying to see where they mark it. Both the side judge and the line judge were coming in. They mark it down at the 1-yard line. So 1st and goal from the 1 for Southeastern. And as we come down to 6.5 minutes to go in this one. Polk still in the backfield. 2 tight ends. Plows it in over the left side, and he scores standing up. As Southeastern pushes their lead to 2 scores. Guys, as disappointing as the second half has been for the Crimson Storm, you have to give some credit to the Savage Storm for coming in and making some second half adjustments, and they've been clicking on all cylinders here in the second half.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that's what we were talking about, is they seem to not have a rhythm at all in the first half, and they come out and run the ball and get a new back in there with some fresh legs, and are able to march all the way down the field and score a couple times here in the second half.
Tarango puts the extra point up and good. So with 6:23 to go in this one, SNU Nail trails 21-7. We'll take a timeout and be right back with SNU hoping to cut into the lead after this break.
Yeah, I was just doing the same thing. always do this?
6:23 to go in Bethany. Southeastern has opened up a 21-7 lead over the Crimson Storm. Guys, time not a friend of SNU right now. How do you push the pace with this offense?
Well, I think you got to mix it up. I mean, we've been talking about SNU trying to establish the run with the quarterback, and just haven't had success with it in this game. And not to say that can't be something that they establish and try to work on in the future, but so far, especially in the second half, there's just not been anything from the ground game. So I'd love to see them mix it up a little bit, get the ball to the perimeter, and see if they can't throw it a little more.
Josh Johnson fields the kickoff, trying to make some things happen. Cuts it back across the field. He's got nobody but blockers on the far side. 50, 40, and wrangled down inside the 30-yard line by Marquise Gray. Incredible cutback from Josh Johnson.
Yeah, man, and that's incredible. And it was great vision. It was a little risky, but at this point you got to be a little risky. But man, I don't know if there's been a better play in the game than that tackle by number 88 for Southeastern. I mean, he had no reason to even get a hand on him, and he grabbed just enough jersey to make a play. But SNU in great field position with 6 minutes left and 3 timeouts. So we were just talking about how it looks kind of bleak, and it just takes one play, and all of a sudden you can score, maybe have the momentum back, and you have plenty of time to still run the offense the way you want to.
1st and 10 at the Southeastern 27-yard line. Porter takes the snap, looking right. Plenty of time. Now he's flushed left, and he's going to have to eat it out of bounds. Taken out on the play by number 48 for Southeastern. That's Emmanuel Hafford. Loss of 1. Porter with all kinds of time to throw. Nobody was able to come open. By the time he decided to run, it was a little late. So 2nd and 11 now for SNU. Hooper, the man in motion. He gives to him. Hooper trying to beat Hafford to the corner. He does, and he'll pick up a good 10 yards there. Should bring up 3rd and very manageable at the 18-yard line. It'll be 3rd and 1.
Yeah, just like we talked about, SNU already getting a little more dynamic on the offensive end. They go for a deep pass play in the first play, and then they hand the ball to Hooper on the end around, pick up 9 there.
So 3rd and kind of a long 1 for SNU. Need touchdowns with 5.5 minutes to go. Walker's the man in motion. Porter following his blockers. Bounces off a tackle and has the first down at the 15-yard line.
Yeah, and that's the right pull right there. You know, we've been talking about, you know, the options that Porter has. And on a 3rd and 1, there's nobody else that you want to have the football, especially if you're running a power. The stretch is good. Nate Walker is fast. It's a little more risky. There's a little bit more reward, but if you want 1 yard, give the ball to Gage Porter.
So 1st and 10 from the 15-yard line. Hooper, the man in motion. Southeastern shows blitz. They swing it out to Hooper. Great block by Nate Walker. Hooper to the end zone. And they're going to mark him. It's a touchdown! Vance Hooper dove for the pylon, and he got it. It's a 15-yard touchdown for Vance Hooper.
And like we were just saying, all of a sudden the game's back on, right? So 21 unanswered points, one blown coverage, and a great play on this kickoff return. And then all of a sudden, 14-21, still have 3 timeouts left, 5 minutes to go in the game.
Ryan Reed on for the extra point. Sends that one up and through. And just like that, again, SNU back in it. 4:49 to go. It's 21-14 Southeastern. We've got a flag on the field right now. We'll see what this is all about before we go to our media timeout. After the play, it's going to be unsportsmanlike conduct on Southeastern, and we will assist that 15-yard penalty on the kickoff. So 4:49 to go in this one. SNU back in it, trailing 21-14. Can the defense hold when we come back right after this? SNU kicking off from the 50-yard line after the 15-yard penalty, and opportunity for onside perhaps. Southeastern certainly thinks so with the way they're lined up.
They're certainly expecting an onside kick, although SNU is definitely not lined up in an onside formation. Reese high onside or Pooch, or not a Pooch high onside, or anything creative here?
I would think maybe Pooch.
Reed's just going to send this through the end zone, out of bounds.
Out of bounds.
At the 4-yard line.
Man.
And
hills and valleys for Reed today.
Mm-hmm.
Lots of great kicks, and a few that he wished he left on the practice field.
Yeah, the kid, he has such a big leg, and in this scenario, I mean, you don't have to kick it particularly deep. You have the extra yardage, just got to get it into the end zone, and it seemed like he was just trying to do a little too much with it.
so, in the grand scheme of things, that was clearly going to be a touchback. It certainly doesn't help things, but it could have. It's not going to give Southeastern a tremendous amount more of field position.
They are. It does look like they're.
Oh, the referee is talking with head coach Tyler Fenwick over there. Not sure what the discussion is.
Yeah. Placing the ball at the 20, so maybe it did go out of bounds in the end zone. Not quite sure. Maybe a result of the penalty. Luke, you can look that up for us later.
The only thing I can imagine is that they just enforced the personal foul after the fact, which is an interesting ruling nonetheless. So it's 1st and 10 Southeastern at the 20. Learning rules every week, guys. Hatley pulls it, running along the left side, tracked down by Jake Hansen after a gain of about 8. And that has been there for Dalton Hatley the past 2 possessions. It'll be 2nd and 2 for Southeastern.
Yeah, and Hansen having another good game, leading the team in tackles this far with 8.
Yeah, normally you know with a non-running quarterback, you let him keep those on play action read, as often as you want. But with this little bit of time remaining that we have to be more careful.
Give us to Taylor. Walker a little bit overzealous in the backfield. Taylor is finally taken down by Josh Jordan at the 35, and Landon Walker was in the backfield very quickly, but a little bit overzealous and overshot Taylor. So pickup of 7. Be 1st and 10 for Southeastern as the clock is under 4 minutes. SNU needing stops now. It's all on the defense at this point to come up with a play and get the Crimson Storm the ball back. Tight end goes in motion to the left side. Gives to Taylor. He runs that way, tried to cut it up the middle, and quickly taken down for a 1-yard gain by Dylan Bauer. And SNU will burn their first timeout with 3:23 to go in the game. Southeastern facing a 2nd and 9. Guys, a little bit of an interesting optics dynamic with the play clocks not functioning correctly today. The quarterback, Hatley, having to watch the back judge to raise his arm for 10 seconds on the play clock each time before he's going to snap it late as the clock winds down. So an interesting, again, just interesting from an optics perspective. So guys, SNU's been successful today defending the run game, just 76 yards through 3 quarters for Southeastern. But they've certainly been gashed more on the ground here in the second half, particularly by those fresh legs of Ryan Taylor, who came in late in the 3rd quarter and had a big run on that last touchdown drive for Southeastern. You commit more to the run, or do you play it about the same level you've been playing it here in the second half?
Well, with with just 3 minutes and 23 seconds left, you kind of have to assume it's going to be run. And so if you're going to get beat, you don't want to get beat by the run. You're using your timeouts right now. You're trying to stop the clock. You're trying to get the ball back. If you're Southeastern, I'm not passing unless it's a sure thing.
Blitz coming from the top of the formation. Hatley going to be taken down after a gain of 3. Quick timeout for SNU. Josh Jordan in on that tackle. Again, Hanson also there. Those two guys have been everywhere today. It looks like Noah Campbell on the sideline. He is done for the day. Pads off. So another injury for this SNU defense. And a big 3rd down and 6 upcoming for SNU. Just 1 timeout left for the Crimson Storm. 3:15 to go. So definitely not the game here if you're SNU, but certainly you definitely want to get the stop while you still can, especially with an offense that needs more time than less time to make things happen down the field.
Yeah, I was just thinking that, Luke. It's not an offense that can really, score in bunches, especially it's an offense that has struggled to score any points so far this season. And so you don't want to put your offense in a situation where they have to drive the length of the field, with a minute left. So this is a big play here.
Any chance they pass?
Oh, 4 wide, I'd say there's a pretty decent one.
Watch for the stick routes.
3 wide receivers to the left, 1 to the right. Ryan Taylor in the backfield with Hatley. 3rd down and 6. 3:15 to go. Crowd making some noise here in Bethany.
Some under routes, maybe.
Hatley gets the snap. It's going to be a give to Taylor. Breaks free, and he's got the 1st down. The hole closed quickly, but not quickly enough. And Southeastern picks up the 1st down to the 47-yard line. Clock moving, under 3 minutes to go, and 1 timeout for SNU, and they have to make a stop here in these next 3 plays.
Yeah, no chance Southeastern's passing the ball again. They've had such great success in the second half with running, even on that last kind of pseudo draw play.
Taylor slips through the tackle of Walker, then Spurlock, and is taken down at the 48-yard line of SNU. Pickup of 5. SNU uses their final timeout with 2:25 to go. So the Crimson Storm with their backs against the wall, unable to stop the clock. So even if they do get a stop here on this possession, number 1, you'd imagine that Southeastern might go for it if it's 4th and short. And either way, SNU's going to only have less than a minute to go if they do get the ball back here. again, Southeastern leading this one 21-14. 2:25 left. SNU led 7-0 at halftime at 21 consecutive points for Southeastern in the second half. SNU just scored on a Vance Hooper 15-yard scamper to draw SNU within a single score, but Ryan Taylor just picked up a key third down. Gives Southeastern a death grip on this game. We'll see if SNU can make a stop here. 2nd and 5 from the SNU 48-yard line. The give is to Taylor. He's harassed, and he's going to lose a yard.
And
SNU players saying there's a fumble.
Southeastern comes up with it.
All officials point to the ground. So SNU forces a loss on that play, so it'll be 3rd and 6 now from the 49-yard line. And it's tough for us up here in the booth as we don't know where the play clock stands. So you figure about 15 or so on the play clock right now with 1:50 to go. 3rd and 6. Hatley with the snap. He's going to he's going to run it. He's going to be taken down at the line of scrimmage. So it'll be 4th and 6.
And they'll have to snap the last play with about 40 seconds, or 1 minute left. Almost exactly. And just, Luke, I'm sure you know this. You're a smart guy. Reese, you are too. For those watching who may not know this, the back judge has to wear a watch just in case something like this were to happen. So he's not counting it in his head or anything like that. He's got it on a stopwatch, and he's holding it up 10 seconds and 5 seconds.
You know, it's almost interesting that they do require the back judge to wear a watch. You'd think with a sport that still measures a first down with links of chain in 2019 would make the back judge count 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi if the play clock went out.
Or sundial.
Sundial. Excellent.
Yeah. A little harder to read, but, they can be effective.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All back judges are excellent sundial readers.
Of course.
So Southeastern takes their first timeout with exactly 1 minute to go. So they will probably be sending, or not probably, they'll send this one away and into a stiff breeze from the south. Jeremiah Baltrip has been the punter today. It hasn't been pretty, but it has been effective for the cornerback turned punter today, with regular punter Sebastian Escalante out with an injury. So we'll see if we can get ourselves a fortunate bounce here. And if nothing else, get a touchback.
Yeah.
Baltrip's punts do tend to roll a little ways. This isn't going to be a high hanger.
And here comes the punt rush.
You also don't want to get the guy either. Baltrip sends it away. It's a high shank.
Wow.
And he put it in the stands.
I think it went in the stands and then almost back up and over the stands. Man, just a terrible punt. You know,
it is a 3-yard punt.
Oh my!
The official marks it out of bounds at the 46-yard line.
That's about as bad as it can be.
What a break for the Crimson Storm with 53 seconds to go.
You know, Reed had one that he's going to have nightmares about, but he'll sleep better knowing that their punter just knocked one into the stands. So,
yeah.
Man, I think
at the most crucial point of the game.
Mm-hmm. There was a kid that was about 5 yards away from that looked a little surprised.
Yeah, that almost hit a kid. I mean, that was very close. Almost nailed him in the head. 3 wide receivers right. Southeastern's going to take a timeout.
It's a good timeout by Southeastern because you get to see what formation they're going to line up in, what plays they're going to do. Obviously, this is the end of the game. You know, this is their Hail Mary formation or something close to it. Take a timeout, put the right personnel on the field, and then come back. If you're SNU, you have another play in your back pocket, anticipating a timeout in this situation.
Yeah, and Landry, I don't know if SNU is even necessarily in complete and utter panic mode. It'd be one thing if they had the ball on the 20 like we were expecting, but, I mean, they got the ball on the 46, and, you know, if you can throw it a couple times, I think, down the field, get a couple first downs, stop the clock. and then take a couple shots in the end zone. And so it'll be interesting to see how they go about this.
Reese, you'd be a little bit more versed in this given your experience with this offense, but given the way SNU's run plays develop and everything, you can't run the ball here, right?
No, I wouldn't say so. And I think if you're SNU, you let some of your playmakers on the perimeter try to make a play here. Let Reed run a back shoulder fade, see if Nate Walker can beat someone over the top.
Porter rolling right. Oh, and he's got Nate Walker open. Can he get him this time? He does! At the 10, inside the 5-yard line.
And they're saying he's out of bounds, which stops the clock.
Unbelievable play. Nate
Wow.
Walker, the second receiver from the sideline, just ran a long over route and ran by everyone. Just a simple throwback play, and SNU in business at the 3-yard line with 42 seconds to go.
And with 42 seconds, you have 4 plays at the 3 instead of anything else.
So first and goal, SNU. What a turn of events here in Bethany. Porter fakes the sweep, looking for the drag. He's got space, he cuts it up inside, he scores! Touchdown SNU! 37 seconds to go.
Looks like they're going to leave the offense on the field. They're going to go for 2 here.
And why not? You've just scored 13 consecutive points in less than 3 minutes.
Yeah, I like the call.
Go for it.
I like the call.
Ooh, I don't know if I like it at home, but I like the guts.
Yeah. Maybe if overtime started on your opposite 20 and it's go 80 yards.
Southeastern's going to call their third and final timeout. It looked like offensive coordinator Dustin Hato wanted the ball in a different spot. They have it spotted right in the middle of the field. I think the coaching staff wanted that spotted on one of the hash marks. And Reese, I would imagine that would be to give more space for some sort of sweep.
Yeah, and I'm still going back to that Nate Walker play. I mean, the Southeastern defense had about 3 defensive backs just standing there about 13 yards deep. So no sort of prevent whatsoever, no one high safety, and just let Nate run right by him. And you got to be expecting that, right? The SNU is going to take some sort of shot down the field, and Nate, just great play.
Yeah. And then the throw was on the money.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't even lose stride. In fact, when he let it go, I thought, oh no, this looks just like the last pass of Nate Walker, a little underthrown, and it just sat in there.
Looks like they might. Are they going to kick it?
No, they're still going for it. Ryan Reed coming
Yeah.
over to the sideline. SNU putting it all on the line here, and hey, when the coaches talk about wanting to see more fight from their players, I think it's really important to see the players see the fight from the coaches, and I think this signifies that in a big way right now, trusting them to get these 3 yards. So SNU going for 2, tight formation, triple option look here. Walker fakes the pitch. Shellmeyer's held. Porter's got all sorts of space, and he scores!
Unbelievable.
And SNU takes a 22-21
Wow.
lead with
Wow.
37 seconds to go.
We talked about fight with this team. That was the word coming in, and SNU, after going up at halftime, comes out and Southeastern scores 3 straight times, and SNU does not give up, comes back, 2-point conversion, takes the lead with 30 seconds to go.
Pretty incredible. And I hate to be a Debbie Downer right now because that was just probably the most exciting few plays that we'll see maybe this season. But it was really only about 10 seconds of gameplay. So we get the ball thinking there's no chance, and then all of a sudden Southeastern's in the same position we are. So hopefully Reed will just knock this maybe through the end zone, and we'll give him something to some worse field position to start with. As long as he kicks the ball further than 3 yards, I think we'll be good.
Woo!
Man.
37 seconds to go. Southeastern going into a strong south wind, so that will affect their ability for any kickoff. Ryan Reed, just a short run up and another boot. He sends it high. It's going to be fielded by Hatcher. And he's going to be decked by Colby Branch at the 29-yard line.
Got to love a wide receiver who go down and hit on special teams.
Oh, yeah.
So Southeastern burned all of their timeouts playing defense. One to set up their punt, one on the first play of SNU's offensive possession, and then once there on the two-point conversion. So Southeastern has no timeouts with 33 seconds to go.
Yeah.
They're at their own 29-yard line.
And they do just need a field goal. Now the wind is against them, but they've had great success with the deep out routes this game. Great success. So I wouldn't be surprised if there's a couple deep out routes or some comeback routes to try to spread out the field and get out of bounds quickly.
SNU not in any sort of prevent. Hatley, long out, and Wells slipped down. Kincaid able to keep his feet long enough to get upfield. 25 and a half seconds to go.
And the one con, if you're Southeastern to running these deep out routes and deep comeback routes, they take a long time to develop. They take a long time, and SNU is going to give them the time that they want.
The chains got tangled up on the far side. So we've got that all set up here. So 1st and 10 Southeastern at the 47-yard line. Lots of time left after that pickup of 20. Blitz coming from Bauer. Trying to get there. Hatley puts it up for grabs. It's deep. It's intercepted by Josh Jordan. Oh, and a flag coming from the back judge. Jordan runs out of bounds, but the back judge is going to get, I believe, Josh Johnson on the 15-yard penalty.
Certainly looked like one that probably should have been left alone. Maybe a little bias here, but man, it's a big call at the end of the game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The good thing is it is only a 15-yard penalty, and 10 seconds did go off the clock.
Yeah, they don't get the time back, which is nice. They are closer to field goal range, and they still have the ball. That's probably the worst news.
So they get the ball at their SNU 38-yard line now. They mark it at the 37-yard line. This is a 54-yard field goal into a stiff wind. 3 wide receivers left, 1 to the right. Hatley with time. He's going down the far sideline. Wells is there. Knocks it away. Incomplete.
Great play.
Wonderful defense. Wonderful defense. And that's the kind of no call that you want to see, right? So there's contact from both sides. He gets his arm up. He makes a play on the ball, gets his head around, no call. And man, wonderful defense. It was a great throw, too. The throw was on the money.
7.6 seconds to go. You don't have enough time to really run another long developing play like that and the field goal. This is probably going to be a quick out. Tarango's long this season is 45. He's 3 for 4 this season. Hatley looking to the left. Lots of time. He's taking it all. He's going deep to the end zone. It's a Hail Mary. It's intercepted, and that's how the game ends. Josh Jordan with the interception, and the Crimson Storm get their first win of the season in stunning fashion, and their first win ever over the Savage Storm from Southeastern. Guys, what an incredible finish. And if anything got through to these guys this week, it was Coach Lambert's message about fight. And they fought their tails off for 4 quarters and made an incredible comeback in the final 6 minutes of this one to get their first win of the season.
Yeah, and you can walk away from a game like this, hold your head high, Obviously, there's some excitement that you have from these kind of games. You love winning close games. There's really nothing like it in sports than coming back and kind of defying the odds. But these are games, we saw it last year, Luke, that Southwestern game where it really looked like disaster the whole game. And then all of a sudden, SNU wins and momentum starts to build for the rest of the season. And so this is a big moment for them in their season, and I'm glad it happened early for them. This is a big win for them.
Yeah, starting the season 0-3, a loss like that would have, could have for sure spiraled the season downward very quickly. With a tough Harding team on the road next week,
Right.
and then hosting Arkansas Tech back here on October 12th, very easily could have snowballed as the season went along. But instead, a game like this, the way you win, now suddenly you feel like you can beat anybody.
Yeah, exactly, Luke. It's not like you just won a game, 14 to 31 or something like that. You beat a team in the last couple of seconds, and your guys were fighting to the very end. The coaches, even with some gutsy calls to back up, Luke, what you're talking about, fight. So this isn't just an everyday, win to get your first win of the season. They're doing it in a fashion like this, which brings so much more energy and confidence to a locker room for the entire season.
Wow, guys. What a game. What a finish. We're going to step aside for just a quick minute, and then when we come back, we'll have final stats and analysis and look ahead to next week's game for the Crimson Storm on the road at Harding. So don't go anywhere. We will be right back after this. Welcome back to SNU Football Stadium, where everyone is still in a little bit of a delirious mood here as SNU scores twice in the last 6 minutes of the game to wipe out a 21-7 deficit and take out Southeastern 22-21. Just a stunning comeback and a stunning finish to this one. Guys, just what are your initial feelings? You see the end of this, your first word is?
I think you have to look at the narrative of the game. So SNU is coming in and playing a Southeastern team that they know. Southeastern's probably the more talented football team. They played a couple games, and Southeastern has played a lot of games close. So if you're SNU, you're going, okay, we're playing a more talented game, a more talented team. But then you come in and you're up 7-0 going into half. So you're thinking, okay, we can compete with these guys. And then boom, boom, boom. Southeastern, 3 straight scores. It almost becomes, oh, no, here we go again for SNU. We're down, and nothing's going right on offense. The defense can't stop anything. And then a play like this happens. Yeah. SNU gets a couple things going and wins in a fashion like this. I mean, I just think there's so much energy and momentum going into next week.
Yeah, certainly makes practice this week so much easier. But if there's one word that I don't know if you can boil it down to one word. I think I said a lot of words when Nate Walker caught that pass. But man, I think it's just what Coach Lambert talks about, just character, and having guys who want to compete and having guys who are bought into the team. And you don't come back from 14 down with 4 minutes left if your guys on the sidelines and the guys on the field don't care about one another and don't care who gets the glory.
Mm-hmm.
And so you have guys like Nate Walker, who probably during times in this game felt like he should be getting more touches. All of a sudden, this play springs open for him. He makes this great play. Even on the touchdown, the following play, and the 2-point conversion, there were options that where guys could have been frustrated that Gage walked it in. But it's a team game, and, man, they really showed character, in particular probably the first half and then the last 3 minutes. They played hard in the whole game, but in particular, man, the cream of the crop rises to the top. Great game. What about you, Luke? What
Guys, you look at this box score for the game, and you look down everything, and you kind of wonder how SNU won the game.
Yeah,
They're outgained 397 to 255. Southeastern ran 24 more plays. SNU had 11 penalties for 113 yards. They were 2 of 13 on third down conversions. They had an interception on what might have been a surefire touchdown to Nate Walker. And yet they ended up winning the game. And it all, like we talked about, it all came down to SNU's fight and making some gutsy calls on the coaching staff's part. So just an incredible, tremendous finish to this one. Let's run through the box score real quick here. Again, SNU wins this one 22-21 over Southeastern. Just 9 first downs for the Crimson Storm in this one. And part of that, you look at how the third quarter started with 3 or 4 straight 3-and-outs to start the second half. Things were not going well after a solid first quarter and a solid first half overall. On the ground, SNU finished with 115 yards on 35 attempts, 140 yards through the air. Gage Porter was 10 of 15 with 2 touchdowns and 1 interception. And then, so again, total, the SNU offense only ran 50 plays for 255 yards, a little over 5 yards play, which is a little bit up from their season average of 4.3 yards per play. And guys, really, you look at generally, special teams were huge today. Jaquel Davis had some solid kick returns. Reed Roloffs had that long punt return. And, of course, Josh Johnson's long kick return that set up that first touchdown for Vance Hooper on the 15-yard pass from Gage Porter. That was what turned the momentum right there. Somebody who, a sophomore who had, to my knowledge, hasn't had any kickoff return time and gets out there on his first return of the season and takes it 57 yards, making something out of nothing, really. Mm-hmm. And that started the whole thing. It kind of just goes to show, again, all 3 phases of the game are equally important.
Yeah, definitely. And if you're SNU going into this game, we already mentioned it. I mean, your offense hasn't been clicking. Your defense has been questionable. And so SNU is going to take advantage where they can. And so they'll put some of their best athletes on special teams. It's not time to for some freshmen to get some playing time. Special teams is something that SNU comes in and says, hey, can we win the special teams battle today? And today they certainly did.
Individually for SNU, Nate Walker, 29 yards rushing on 6 carries. Landon Walker had 23 yards on that fake punt call in the first half. Christian Shellmeyer had 19 yards on his 1 carry. And Gage Porter, 23 carries. Ended up with just a net of 17, but, of course, that includes sacks and other lost yardage as well. Receiving-wise, Nate Walker, 3 catches, 59 yards, none bigger than the 52-yard pass with less than a minute to go that set up Porter's 2-yard touchdown run with 38 seconds to go. Reed Wallace had 2 catches for 20 yards. Vance Hooper, 2 catches for 19 yards and a touchdown. And Noah Turbyfill with 1 catch, and that was for 31 yards and that first quarter touchdown. For Southeastern, they finished with 20 first downs, 190 yards on the ground, 207 through the air. just 13 of 33. God, it seemed like a lot more than that, especially in the second half as they got their offense going. Seemed like Dalton Hatley was a lot better than 11 of 27, but he did throw 2 interceptions. He finished with 193 yards and 2 scores. Roland Kinsall came out late in the second quarter. He was just 2 of 6 for 14 yards. Rushing, Rashad Polk, 12 carries, 75 yards, and a touchdown. Ryan Taylor came in late in the third quarter and really gave the Savage Storm a burst on offense. He had 8 carries, 74 yards, and had a long 44-yard run to set up Polk's 1-yard touchdown run with 6:23 to go. C.J. Shavers had 11 carries for 29 yards, and Hatley finished with 8 carries for 13 yards. Receiving-wise for Southeastern, Deuce Pittman, 4 catches, 54 yards. Braxton Kincaid, 3 catches, 60 yards, and a 38-yard touchdown. Felton Hatcher, 2 catches, 47 yards, and Contrell Blakely, 2 catches, 27 yards. Guys, again, you just wonder how SNU managed to win this game, and just the thought of that, certainly, like you talked about a little bit already, the thought of that, realizing that you did win a game when you can look back and say, how did we win that game, has to do a lot for your momentum and for just the general attitude of the team.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, and that can be, of course, a negative thing when you come in the locker room and say, okay, well, we won this game, but we didn't play that well. But on the other side, like you said, Luke, it's, hey, we have a long way to go. And if we could beat a team, not playing super well, imagine what we could do when we're clicking on all cylinders. And so, of course, you go back and you watch film and you see what you could do better. And hopefully it's eliminate some penalties and find a real rhythm on offense. But at the same time, you take today, you celebrate today, and then you're on to the next one.
I wanted to ask you guys about that in the second half. It seemed as if a lot of those sweeps and everything that SNU was doing in the first half with success kind of went away in the second half. Do you think that was partly just because of the way the officials were calling the game and SNU coaches afraid of just continuing to rack up those penalties?
I'm sure it factored into their mind. I'm sure as a coach, you're trying not to play against the official, so you're going to want to keep doing that. And the first half was brutal, but the crazy thing is, I don't think there was a single holding call in the second half. So something was going on. I don't know if there were some words between both head coaches on the way to halftime to kind of talk to them about it. I think some of those outside stretch plays, they just weren't there. They just kind of loaded up the box and forced SNU to try to beat them with the pass, which they eventually did. Again, which is surprising. To your point about just some of how they can walk away and say, man, I can't believe we won this game. There was a lot of opportunities that were missed. You think they had a touchdown to Nate Walker earlier in the third quarter that turned out to, or in the fourth quarter that turned out to be an interception. So there was definitely opportunities, and just kind of some misses. But I don't know. What do you think, Reese?
Yeah, no, definitely. That one to Nate Walker came to my mind too, and I think you're just seeing some explosiveness from SNU that you haven't seen the past couple of weeks, specifically through the air. And I'm really looking forward to see, okay, what does SNU, the coaching staff, come back and say, all right, maybe we'll make this a little more of our identity. We'll try to take a couple shots each game to Nate Walker and see if we can't continue to work on some of that magic. Because just looking at the stats we talked about, it wasn't a convincing win, especially on the offensive side of the ball for SNU. So it will be interesting to see how they attack the opponent's defense going forward.
SNU going on the road next week to Harding. And guys, you couldn't ask for really a tougher task outside of Ouachita in this conference, especially on the road in Searcy. But guys, after a win like that, what does this do for SNU going into that game against the Bisons?
Correct me if I'm wrong. Harding runs the flex bone. So
it's beautiful.
Yeah, it is. Sure. I think it's fine. There is something about the flex bone that creates your week. It's a little easier. You have to be a little bit more mentally disciplined. But from defensive side of the ball, you really just cross key. I'm assuming that's what they do. So one guy has this guy, one guy has this guy, two guys have the dive, one guy has a quarterback. So there is something simpler about that as a defense. And the reason I'm saying this is because you've just won. You get to enjoy your win. and then you're not trying to add a whole bunch of new things into your defense. You're saying, hey, we're going to run our stuff, but it's just going to look like you have one job, and on every run you've got the pitch man, and on every – if he goes out for a pass, you've got him. So I think they'll be able to enjoy that, and anytime you win, you have more momentum. Anytime you win, especially a game like this. So hopefully they bounce back with some mental discipline too, and not waste any kind of practice days this week.
Reese, you've been to Searcy. You've faced Harding many times in your career. They're a challenge, and they are the standard, and SNU's trying to move up toward that standard.
Yeah, definitely. And one thing that's interesting about Harding is great as a football team and a program that they are. They're not necessarily the most athletic or maybe even the biggest, but they are going to be the most disciplined and one of the tougher teams you face in the GAC. And so I think for SNU, and this has always been our approach, is can we out-tough a Harding opponent? And it's really hard to do because that's what they're trained on. But if you can, and if your defensive guys are willing to come in, fly to the ball, and get used to getting cut block every single play, get back up, do it again, you have to be mentally prepared to face a team like this just because you only face it once a year.
Yeah.
It does definitely lots of challenges across the board, but SNU will be basically floating all the way to Searcy next week, as opposed to just feeling really down.
Yeah.
That could have been a completely different bus ride for this team, but it will feel like the easiest 6-hour bus ride on the planet after the way the Crimson Storm won this one. Any final thoughts from you guys?
No, I'm good. What about you? You got any final thoughts?
Oh, I just it's just amazing to see the fight again, like we talked about in pregame. Seeing that fight come through, and there's no doubt that they heard the message this week, and that's you follow a team, you hear what the coaches are telling you, and what's going on the field, and that's probably one of the most encouraging things I think as a coaching staff is to see the message getting through, and knowing that hey, we can now make a different message, and it can get through. So you just wonder what's that next message going to be that gets through for this Crimson Storm team, and what that result will be. So, guys, enjoyed it as always. We'll be on the air next week in Searcy as the Crimson Storm take on the Harding Bisons. I will practice being grammatically incorrect all week, saying Bisons. That's what they tell me I have to do. So we'll do that next week. 6 o'clock kick. We'll be on the air about 5:45 for pregame. Hope you'll tune in here on the Crossover Radio Sports app. That'll be your home for SNU football all season long, and SNU men's and women's basketball once we get into the winter months as well. Thank you all for joining us today. Again, the final score from SNU Football Stadium: Crimson Storm 22, Southeastern 21. We'll see you next week in Searcy.